Hi, folks. Terry Norvell here, inviting you to join me and my broadcast partner, Patrick Young, weekdays at high noon for the Young and Norvell Show. Lunch is on you, the most compelling sports talk in the area. Well, that's on us. The Young and Norvell Show, weekdays at noon on ESPN 690.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. If you're looking for a real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss, call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
Find out what's causing your hair to fall out. Can your hair grow back? What procedures or products will work? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS's Hair and Scalp Analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They're the only clinic to offer the trademark multi-unit hair grafting, PRP platelet-rich plasma, and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure. Real solutions, real results.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
Think about how you shop and compare prices. For automobiles, exercise equipment, even shoes. But do you shop and compare prices when you're buying jewelry? Buying a piece of diamond jewelry from a corporately owned jewelry store at the town center who says they're buying direct from wholesalers could cost you thousands of dollars. We know because we've seen it at Beard's Diamonds. That look of regret when a customer brings in a diamond ring they've just purchased and realize what the actual Beard's price is. Thousands less. Because Beard's Diamonds is locally owned, they set the prices here in Jacksonville, not at a corporate sales office in Chicago or Charlotte. And Beard's Diamonds doesn't pay commissions. So you get a bigger, better diamond without being upsold into something you don't want. Shop and compare, and you'll see for yourself. Beard's Diamonds has the lowest prices guaranteed in the St. John's Town Center or online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Bono's Pit Barbecue. Yeah, it's good, and you know it's good. It's more than food. It's about the flavor, the tradition. It's barbecue, and it's who they are at Bono's. Locally smoked since 1949. Almost 20 locations around Jacksonville. And on the menu, smokehouse stackers, sandwiches, salads, sides, and Bono's family feasts. Authentic, traditional Southern barbecue. Feel the flavor. Feel the community. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Week 1 of the 2023 NFL season caps off with the high quarterback Aaron Rodgers against the Bills on Monday Night Football. While much of the focus will be on Rodgers, the Jets' defense certainly could make things miserable tonight for Josh Allen and the Bills' offense, believes unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
This is a defense that is built to stop the Buffalo Bills offense. And what I mean by that is a defense that can rush the passer, a defense that can match up receivers on the back end with their corners in coverage.
Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN and ABC, the Manning Cast on ESPN2. NBA Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. arrested on charges of assault and strangulation following an incident at a New York hotel lobby this morning. According to New York City police, the incident involved Porter's girlfriend. The Cubs promoting top outfield prospect Pete Crow Armstrong to the majors. He's expected to be activated before tomorrow's game against Colorado. Chicago is 3 games back of NL Central leading Milwaukee and currently holds the second NL wildcard spot.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
I took a quick little walk this afternoon in between working. Almost got hit by lightning a couple of times. You guys would have been doing the show by yourself. But on my walk, I was thinking, is there anything in sports or even life that changes the mood, the narrative, the whatever, than a win or a loss in the NFL? I've covered a lot of different sports. It does not resonate to this degree at other levels of football. Some, I know you diehard college fans would say it does, but here's the problem with diehard college fan. You lose like 4 times a year if you're any good or you suck.
And alcoholism.
Right? I mean, and yeah, you can cover it up with a lot of partying. The NFL, when your team, again, it's got to be your hometown team most likely, or your team.
You're on
but
the right
it's
path
like,
here.
I just don't know if there's anything else. There were a myriad of problems yesterday.
Lots.
And it doesn't matter. They won by 10. Who cares? You got the win. It really doesn't matter. You know how many times I've covered the Jags where it's like, wow, they're doing a lot of good things. They dominate the game. They dominate the game. Boom, they lose. All that good stuff didn't matter. Like, it does not matter. So you're on the other side of it right now. And I can feel it on social media. You can feel it in the air. I mean, the city, of course, is going to be buzzing all week with a big crowd, the Chiefs game, coming off a win. I just saw the ratings. They were massive. Like, it is amazing how much everything flips just because of what the scoreboard says, no matter how it looked or what went right or wrong. I think the only thing that can hide a win and the exuberance around it and what else it hides is if you have like a major injury.
Yeah, big-time injury
right?
will sully the whole thing.
That would sully it a little bit. So,
I mean, they almost had that.
Isn't it crazy? It's so unique in that respect, or am I missing something?
No,
Brent, this is just life, man. This is
It's
just
like
life.
definitely groupthink when it comes to NFL fandom. It's very rare you'll ever find a fan base completely split on the same thing, unless it's like a quarterback controversy.
Yeah, that's true. I just try to think of anything. Here's the thing. Like, if you got something going on in your life and it's either really great or really not, like, there's about a handful of people that really care about it. The others are probably trying to support you much. But you have so many people that care about this one thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what changes it. You know, I mean, again, I can't come up with anything else. The NFL is maybe that's part of their secret. Maybe it took me so long to figure it out, but maybe that is the secret. The things that change with a win versus a loss in the building, which I was in this morning, and you can feel it in there, in the city, in our conversations, since social media has become a thing and you're interacting with everybody. I mean, it's just plain as day. There are a lot of teams that, I don't know what the hell the mood is in Cincinnati today, but it sure ain't what it was like last week.
Yeah. 3 days ago.
I mean, we'll get to that, but what was that? You want to complain about an offense that scored 31, complain about that offense from Cincinnati.
That was a rough day for everybody, although there was one person who foretold this. I'm talking about the man of the year.
You're right, actually.
Man of the year foretold.
By the way, you're off to a nice start.
Very nice start.
Money line Lions
I almost
and
went
the
undefeated.
Browns. Woo. No, I don't know. I mean, forget about the picks. I'm saying money line Browns.
Okay.
Lions Thursday night, that was outside the box.
Yes, it was.
Not covering, but the money line.
Money line, bro.
And then, obviously, the Browns, who you have going to the AFC Championship.
The AFC Championship, that's right. Behind Deshaun Watson.
You know what? You're going to find out today. I got Josh Allen winning Defensive Player of the Year after today.
Cool.
So enjoy week 1, everybody. It was what else crazy about the NFL.
I was just going to say that Browns game was a little bit ugly, but to your point, like, it can't feel good in Cincinnati.
But they have good players. They
have great players.
They do good players at the Browns roster. And potentially really good players on the Browns roster.
But even in Cincinnati where they're feeling bad, like that's the kind of team where you could lose 6 games and still have a shot at the Super Bowl with that team. Not that it's easy or probable, but even that team today If you were to look at their social media in their hometown, listen to their hometown radio stations, man, you would feel a different vibe than what you're feeling this morning here in Jacksonville.
Listen, we said it. Kasey, what would today felt like in Jacksonville if they had lost? And by the way, they were down 21-17 to the Colts in the fourth quarter.
Not fun. Would have drove off the bridge or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be that degree, but it would be like,
I'm just speaking for myself. Sorry, nobody else. I would have drove off the bridge.
It really does flip the way you think and what actually transpires. Here's the other part of this. The defense. So much talk about the defense. And I know there's a lot of talk about the pass rush, but this is an offensive team. They're built on offense. And wow, the defense was good. I mean, this goes into you don't know what you're going to get. Week 1 is a little weird. You don't know what you're going to expect. But not just from the Jags, guys. Outside of the Chargers-Dolphins game, this was a defensive weekend around the NFL. And I'm pretty sure if you go back to the first couple of weeks of last year, the previous year, and the previous year, you're going to see a lot of high-scoring offenses, and the offenses win the day. Certainly wasn't the case yesterday. I mean, while everybody was complaining in the second quarter, the Jags' offense looked like crap. They had 14 points, which was second to, I think, the 49ers at the time. Like, nobody was scoring yesterday. Weird, Kasey. Fantasy football numbers way down.
The boys was not good in fantasy football.
Which boys?
My boys.
Okay.
Specifically my team. Now, here's what's crazy about my fantasy football team. The boys dropped a 125 on them. Dude, I was playing drop 131. Isn't that disappointing?
That is disappointing.
I had Calvin Ridley getting all the points, had McCaffrey. How I had Ridley and McCaffrey and lost. That's crazy.
Should have called it after the first half.
Good thing
I bet you won that over catch number and over yard number, though, on Ridley.
I did.
It was an interesting weekend for defenses. There were a few hiccups, though. You mentioned San Francisco case. Everyone thought that Pittsburgh defense was coming in vaunted. They gave up a big number. The Giants defense was essentially the only part of the team people wanted to talk about. And Wink Martindale and crew gave up a 40-piece to the Cowboys while getting shut out. That's a rough one to watch if you're a Giants fan.
That was actually best case scenario because I went to bed in like the first quarter. I was like, this thing's over.
I don't know if you guys caught any of that Ravens-Texans game. I was peeking in a little bit at the establishment I was at, and Lamar had a real sloppy game, but the Ravens came to play anyway. They put up some points over there, and I think there were a few hiccups here and there, but yeah, to your point, there were a lot of low-scoring affairs.
Yeah, this is pretty surprising to me. All right, big takeaway. Let's go. What do you got? First time on the Jags, talking about them after this win here on ESPN 690. Brent Friends, Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Take it away. What you got? Give me something.
Give you something. I was a little bit alarmed at the disappearing act by Christian Kirk.
Starting with a negative.
A little bit.
They won.
Do you know me? Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm Aaron.
Aaron from New York.
Aaron.
Jets fan.
Life
I'm just saying,
NY.
I'm watching all the harmony coming into the game. I'm watching everyone talk, and the story was there, right? Everyone was talking. It's not about the stats for us. It's about the W. They got the W.
Yeah.
They got it.
I believe that.
I believe that too. But I also believe they wanted to get Ridley into the game early. They did. I believe they wanted to put up points on the board early. I guess they kind of did. I believe the defense wanted to come out and make a statement. They did. So if I'm looking for something that stood out to me, it was the fact that the most reliable hands on the team last year were almost nowhere to be found. It wasn't even his fault.
Kasey, before we get to your take, I'm going to give you my early thought on Christian Kirk having a quiet day. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons. 3, not 2, 3. And one of them is, I think the way this offense is built, the game plan goes a direction to maybe it's Evan Ingram's day or Ridley's day or whatever day, and Christian Kirk will have his days, and Zay Jones too. And it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you go in. I remember games last year where they were thinking Evan Ingram was going to have a big day, and then it was somebody else because they shut it down.
Right.
So I don't know what the game plan was. So I don't know if Kirk was heavily involved in it or not. That leads me to the second one. 45 of 52 last year for Trevor Lawrence against Gus Bradley's defense in the Indianapolis Colts. 45 of 52. Christian Kirk, sitting underneath in a lot of that stuff, is going to get the easy stuff. I think Gus probably tried to take away some of that and say, okay, well, we're going to take that away, and where are you going to go? And then I think by the end of the first half, they're like, oh, we better do something about Ridley as well.
Very quick.
Because he's got 7 catches. And then lastly, this is really my core belief of why Kirk only had 1 catch for 9 yards. I think there wasn't a lot of trust in the offensive line versus the defensive front. And I think Kirk is like the one guy that doesn't play a lot of quick game on the Jags offense. Ridley can, Zay Jones does, Jamal Agnew does, and Evan Ingram does. But you don't usually see the bubble screens and stuff like that to Christian Kirk. I think his stuff takes a little time to develop, sit in the zone, whatever it might be. And I just don't think they trusted that by midway through the second quarter. They were trying to do stuff that would not have to sit back and let that front eat, because the Colts, I just thought they got their way up front. So those are my 3 reasons on Christian Kirk. I don't know if any of them are right. I think my last point is the one I'm really sitting on the most.
Nice.
But I also think Christian Kirk next week could have 10 catches for 140 yards. And I think that's the way this offense is going to operate, because you can't have everybody catching it 8 times.
And to your point, Ridley targeted 11 times. Zay Jones targeted 7 times. I bet you that number fluctuates when Christian Kirk's number goes up a little bit.
I agree.
You had Ingram targeted 5 times. He'll probably be around there for most of the games, if not higher or lower on any given week. And then the running backs targeted a few times. ETN 5 times. I think you'll see that on a regular basis. I think between Zay and Christian Kirk, I think that's where you'll see most of the change happening in that target share. But still, that's a guy you saw almost every week last year help out, and to not see him was a little bit concerning when the team struggled to move the ball at times. That being said, you got to be happy if you're a Jaguars fan. You watched that game yesterday.
You want good or bad? You want me to pull an Aaron, or you want good?
No, I think we need to go good.
Don't let him tell you how to be.
Give me good.
Don't give him what he wants.
But you can
give him
do
what
2
want.
if you want.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
I'll give you my overarching number 1 thing.
You're your own man, Case.
You're right. Not the man of the year, apparently. But
No,
I mean,
I'll bully you into doing something good. Give me
Listen,
something good. That's what we usually do on Mondays. Give me something good.
Overarching thing, biggest thing, most important thing to me is these ain't the same Jags. The Jags lose that game 99 out of 100 times in the last 10 years.
I think that's fair.
They did it. That was as lackluster as it could have been. That was an offense that was, I thought, sluggish. That was an offense who at times looked great, at other times looked awful. That was an offense at times didn't even know the rules of football, if you remember that play. And they won by 10. Yeah. This is not the same Jags. Like, I am unbelievably impressed they won that game, because the majority of that game I was like, holy cow, they sold us on a bunch of stuff that wasn't legit.
Brent, let me ask you this. You're watching that game. It's the late in the third. When was it that they finally took the lead for good? Was that the fourth quarter at that point?
Fourth quarter, yeah.
All right, so early in the fourth, early-ish in the fourth, you're watching that game. Did you just have full confidence the Jags were still in it no matter what?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but yeah, I didn't think they were out of the game. I mean, it was 21-17. But I can't sit here and tell you that I thought they were going to win. I tweeted this yesterday. I can't get there fully. The team is, the building is, and I think if you're being honest with yourself, and I think this is what Kasey's kind of admitting here, we've seen it now, the second half of last year, and we saw it again yesterday, where they will find a way to win. Trevor Lawrence is an all-time winner. He will find a way to win. Doug Peterson is a winner. He will find a way to win. We are not used to winners. We're not. And so we still are like, I can't believe they're going to piss this game away in Indianapolis when they're way better than this team and lose to a rookie quarterback and a rookie coach, even though everybody in the world knows they're better than this football team. And if that didn't cross your mind in the fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, late third quarter, then you're kidding yourself, because it did. That's called scar tissue, and we all have to overcome that. But slowly, I'm becoming a believer, because this team says something and does it. They believe it. And I can tell you that they believe it. This goes all the way back to Kansas City last year, regular season, 3-7. We still believe. And since then, they have proved they believe and proved they know how to win. This is a team that now knows how to win. So every Sunday, I think they're going to find a way to win. That was a masterful fourth quarter for a team that was on the verge of getting upset.
Yeah, I'd never had a point, and maybe it's because I'm not a Jags fan. I haven't followed this team with life and death eyes for the last 10 years, where you guys are, or Kasey, you're rebuilding over that scar tissue. But I'm watching that game going, I'm not buying they're losing this one. At no point did I feel like they were really pushed around. Sure, they had issues. There was some pressure over Trevor. Sure, Trevor is the dirty pocket for most of the day, and obviously Tank had his issues on the field as well. But I'm watching that game going, they just don't seem like they don't have control. They're not winning. They're not pushing yet, but they don't seem like there's a total loss of control to me.
I thought they would get let down in my number one bad takeaway, and that is the offensive line. Holy cow.
That was not pretty.
If you're not religious, or you are, you better start talking to whoever you're talking to that they don't sign Chris Jones before Sunday. Because if they do, holy cow.
Yeah, I I think it's a combination of things, right? I've kind of been on the offensive line today, too, and yesterday, and I do the eye test. The eye test, this is an offensive line believer around here, and I have been. You can go rewind the tape, right? I mean, I have been. And I continue to be. I kind of thought of late last night about that Washington game to start the year last year. They looked awful in that game, and they got way better as it went along, so they figured it out. I will say what we don't do enough of, and I don't know why this is, we know the Jags are pretty good. We think the Jags are pretty good. They have a nice preseason. They do things that we thought they were going to do. Yeah, we have questions about their defense, this, that, and other thing. We're not fools. We know it's week one. Strange things happen. It's a division game. But I don't think we gave enough credit to the front of Indianapolis. You love PFF. Go check out the PFF grades for Indianapolis today. That's their strength of their football team. And they got after it. And they were hungry, too. And the old saying of they get paid, too. For whatever reason, they were motivated, and I thought they dominated in a lot of different categories. The thing that I am concerned about with the offensive line, Kasey, is they are beat up mildly, and I wonder if it's going to impact their play. Think about Walker Little did not play in the game against Miami in the last preseason game. It was a late scratch because of a small little groin thing. I don't know where that's at. He played, and actually his PFF numbers were fine. There were 2 straight series where I thought that looked less than fine. Got a holding call, gave up, and then I think he was the one dominated on the Buckner fumble.
Yeah,
I think there was a play the next series, too, where it just didn't look right. So
I think they all had their moments of that, though.
Well, I saw Luke Fortner had he didn't come out of the game hurt or anything like that. So they do a lot of precautionary stuff now with today's medicine, and he was in a boot. But he wasn't limping, so that was weird. So I don't know if he's got a little something going on.
It's fashion, right?
Maybe. Obviously, Harrison's playing with the shoulder, and Sheriff, and gosh, man, give credit to Shatley because the guy's coming off a heart issue and goes in there for the first time in a month and actually did the job pretty well.
Yeah,
they loved his pass blocking at PFF.
But you know what I'm getting at is here. I don't think they're bad. I think that was a good front that had a good plan, and I think you got to tip your cap to them.
Sure.
But I also think they're a little dinged up at the moment. And then I'll go back to the fact that they started slow last year and got a lot better. So I'll give Phil Rauscher a benefit of the doubt that he gets them even cooking a bit more.
I think if there's any position group that needs time to develop and get better over the season as they get hurt and get worse over the season, it's the offensive line group. But to your point, man, they were not kind to Luke Fortner. They were not kind to Ben Bartch. They were not kind to Anton Harrison. Certain aspects of the game got graded well, but overall, that offensive line, if you believe what PFF is telling you today, did not show up good on the report card.
Didn't look like it.
And this is kind of what I hate about PFF Day. Brent, you texted me a little bit earlier, ranting about PFF wanting some grades here this morning, some comparisons, and I'm not sure, especially Case, I'm not sure it's going to show you what you want to see, especially on that Indy front, because while that pass rush on the eye test looked like it was consistent and happening throughout, they actually have pretty poor pass rush grades for Indy yesterday, with the exception of DeForest Buckner.
So I saw 4 guys on their front 7 had, I think, 90-plus grades.
For total defense?
Maybe it was for total defense.
That's accurate. You've got a couple of linebackers who had 90-plus grades in coverage that popped their defensive grade above 90. You've got Grover Stewart, who's a defensive lineman who had a very high defensive grade, which was really on his run defense. But as far as the pass rush goes for Indy, it was DeForest Buckner, according to PFF, and not much else. Grover Stewart coming in second, putting in a 68.3 to DeForest Buckner's 93.7.
Okay, but that's not just the pass rush because they were blowing stuff up in the run game to the point where they didn't. I just think the Jags operationally and play calling wise, which we'll get into in a moment, I think was kind of hinged on the fact that they were so good in the run game in the early downs, or they were making Trevor run a little bit and chase. And some of those things get in the psyche of a play caller, and you've got to just do some safe things to loosen it up or keep defenses honest. I really thought the play calling was dictated by an offensive line that looked like it was getting beat most of the afternoon.
I'd agree with that.
And they did get pushed around in that run game pretty significantly.
And by the way, you don't figure that out in the third and fourth quarter.
No,
you make that make that distinction as a play caller, is my guess, probably by mid-second quarter. All right.
You think it takes that long? Like 4 series in, you're just finding it out?
I don't know what it is, but, I mean, you probably give it some time and see if you guys, especially in the opener, right?
Paper sword or steel sword, yeah.
I still think I was just surprised we didn't see more rollouts of Trevor. Trevor throws so well on the run. Get away from it.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. You know, they usually have the fake, a little play action rollout.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we saw it once. I don't know if we even saw it once, but it wasn't a lot. So, yeah, it was a rough start, I thought, for the offensive line. And the Sheriff injury is an ankle sprain, so we'll keep an eye on it. But
the thing that sucks about Sheriff is, like, we believe he was hurt last year.
Yes.
Now he's hurt again.
Yeah.
And at no point, I think, have we been like, this guy is what they paid for. Like, he's played through injury twice, and it's not his fault. But now you're talking about who knows how long this is going to last, and you're dealing with injury again. Like, it just sucks for him.
Yeah,
no way to put it.
I agree, because I think when he is healthy and he's a really good player, and it's something you don't have to worry about, but you kind of have had to worry about it. And I don't know. I'm not telling you that Cooper Hodges would have been the answer. Shatley is a nice player to put in there at least with experience.
No doubt.
But I would also say you're a backup for a reason, and he's more center left guard than he is right guard.
I was surprised when it was him.
I think that's like his third spot. But hats off to that guy, man. That guy, he is so valuable to this organization and really has been for a long time. I wasn't even sure he was going to make it. I wasn't sure he was going to play again. And there he is in the opener. Coming up big again for the Jags. All right, let's take a break. We have the text line open, 904-362-9901. Get your thoughts as well on the game, 904-362-9901. Kasey will open those phone lines. Don't worry.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
After the first segment ends, as we've discussed
That's
multiple
why.
times.
I didn't tease it until right now, man. I wasn't bringing it up. I was just saying right now.
It felt like you were bringing it up.
I guess I kind of did bring it up.
You brought it up.
He's always bringing it up, Case.
Hey, Brent, 3-hour show today, right?
3 hours.
3 to 6 is usually what we do.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure this doesn't get lost. You bet on Nebraska, right?
Why do we need a 3-hour show to discuss that?
Remember that whole scenario that happened? The whole
Nebraska?
Nebraska?
I don't know you anything.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure we talk about it. I just don't want it to get lost. Like, sometimes those things get lost on a Monday. Jags win. We're not as surprised anymore. A couple of years ago, we were really surprised when the Jags would win. But now, like, I just want to make sure that we get it out there that you were all in on Nebraska.
I was all in on Nebraska. That was wrong. I was all in on Cincinnati beating the Browns.
Hey.
You almost went winless this weekend.
That wasn't good.
How about them Longhorns?
I think he only won
That was
one
another
game.
one.
Woo!
That's not a surprise. Tough start.
I'm hot.
I get better as it goes, just like the Jags offensive line. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and hot on this Monday, but seasonably hot with temperatures right around 90. I'm tracking a few isolated afternoon storms, and then we stay partly to mostly clear overnight with temperatures in the 70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Before you buy a diamond anywhere, shop and compare and save thousands at Beards Diamonds.
Alice Cooper, Too Close for Comfort.
No more.
October 4th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Alice Cooper, live. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. And with Car Bravo, it doesn't matter what used vehicle you're looking for because they certify all makes and models. And for a limited time, save an additional $500 when you purchase a Car Bravo certified vehicle at Nimnick Buick GMC. It's a win-win. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. Experience used-phoria with Car Bravo online at NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine are paying out over $640,000 this month in poker promotions. There will be exciting high-hand specials and no-limit hold'em tournaments all month. Catch Insta Paydays and game day promos at St. Augustine, $300 early bird specials at Orange Park, $500 Fridays at Jacksonville, and much more. Enjoy the best in poker and card games at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjax.com.
Grab an ice-cold can of Celsius Peach Vibe and experience a refreshing blast of sparkling white peach. Celsius Essential Energy drinks are the perfect way to beat the heat all summer long. Find Celsius Peach Vibe at a retailer near you or visit Celsius.com to learn more.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Oh, so much to get to. We love Mondays, especially after a win. It's fun to talk about the good and the bad. After a W, Jaguars now host Kansas City in the home opener. And really, it was such a critical game because now you like how it sets up with Houston after Kansas City. And then, of course, Atlanta, Buffalo. It's like, all right, well, just even if a split in London, I think is everybody would sign up for regardless of what happens coming up.
Giving away losses now.
But this Kansas City game becomes pretty interesting, and we'll talk about it all week. It's going to be a fantastic crowd, buzz in the air, and it does have a reminder of the New England game in 2018. That's what it's going to feel like, I think, this week. And again, you can point to that. It doesn't mean things are going to fall apart like in 2018. This is totally different in Jacksonville, and I think everybody understands that. With Doug and Trevor, and you're starting to see Trevor, I think we take for granted Trevor. Some of the throws, the Zay Jones throw, the Ingram throw, the Ridley throw, Ridley throws. I mean, are we already to the point where we're taking this guy for granted and talking about everything else but Trevor every game?
I don't see how you're not going to get to that point. If he's consistently great, then it's not just great, it's regular.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect something different?
I like what you're saying there, and that's cool. But that has not been ever here.
Yeah.
You seriously got to go back to Brunell to find any consistency at that position with highlight kind of plays.
Sure.
So I guess there's two things that I continually say about this organization right now. Will I say it at the end of the year? Will I say it in 2 years? I don't know. But the way I feel about it right now is we should continually remind ourselves how good of a job Doug Peterson is doing in such a short time. And we should continually remind ourselves that Trevor Lawrence has the chance to be Patrick Mahomes-esque and Brady-esque and Manning-esque. And he threw some dimes.
Yeah, he did some special
yesterday.
things.
And they
Calvin
made some
Ridley
great
did some
plays.
Special things yesterday, too.
He's got the guys to make the plays. The trust is there. But he makes the plays. He's got the ability to throw it. Now, I thought he could have had one pick to Ridley. Somehow he threads the needle. But that's part
and
of
Ridley still caught that ball, which was insane.
It's part of what you like about Trevor, though.
Wild.
It was crazy.
I'm going to tell you on the broadcast, they had no clue where the football was.
Well, it looked like we're in such a bad spot. And it's not like a bad spot.
It sounds like it.
But it's not a great spot. There are worse spots.
Indy's a nice city. You shouldn't call Indy a bad spot.
No, I like Indy, but they were way, way up. And it's like we're in the almost like at the end of one of the end zones.
Ugh.
So it's hard to see. And then there's smaller TVs. So maybe old guy Brent can't see the broadcast as well.
That is true.
It's a really different watch than you are on your couch. Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
We thought let the record show. Brent came into the show today and said, "Old guy Brent might need some new glasses."
Twice now.
Twice. And I might have to start using them. I've got the new glasses.
Oh.
I might have to start using.
Where
them.
you could be like Aaron. Aaron, put them things on.
What glasses? What?
The that play, it looked like he was throwing to whoever was behind him. Behind Ridley.
It did look
there was
like
another
that.
receiver in the air, and I thought that's where the ball was going. Then I thought it got picked from my vantage point.
It was why I think Ridley picked it.
Yeah, I think Ridley did pick it.
No,
he was clearly throwing to Ridley. I don't know why, but he
fit it in there.
Throwing to
He
Ridley.
did. He fit it right through.
Like literally centimeters to spare.
Okay, so let me ask you, where are we on the Trevor stuff? Like, is he there? You like to say, is he him? What do we have to see? Like, I'm not coming off that game yesterday hearing like everybody raving about him, but you know why? Because he didn't put up Tua numbers. I think in today's NFL,
Oh, did you see Tua? Holy!
I think in today's
yesterday's
NFL,
performance is a better thing to see or need to see from your franchise cornerstone than what you saw from Tua. Because what you saw from Tua was a fantasy football type of day, Casey. He's not going to put that up every time out there. He's going to have an offensive outburst. You telling me you don't think Trev's ever going to have an offensive outburst? He will. But what you saw yesterday from Trevor was a win when you weren't expecting one to come on a normal basis. That, I think, is more important than what Tua did yesterday.
Well, again, I don't want to I'm not taking anything away from Tua. It was a ridiculous performance, 466. But I'm just saying you don't catch the attention of the National Football League unless you do a little bit of that. Even still, for Trevor, people talk about him. But when they break down the film, the guys that do it, right, the Baldingers of the world and everybody else, you're going to see dime, 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 dime on the run. Like, the one to Ridley, I thought almost looked like a no-look pass. If Mahomes makes the throw to Ridley, everybody's talking about that throw. He's going across his body, looks like he's throwing to Brenton Strange, and he just
on the touchdown.
On the touchdown.
Oh, where Ridley's just sitting by himself in the end
By
zone.
the way, everybody was open on that play. After it broke
Everybody
down,
was, yeah.
when they showed it, everybody's open, including Brenton Strange, who's like, "Please,
Yeah, I know,
I'm right here."
His ability to throw on the run at 6'6", like just
it's ridiculous.
All these things, man. And when he has to rip it, he rips it. So I just don't think we talk about it enough. We're talking about the defense, we're talking about the offensive line, we're talking about Ridley, we're talking about Etienne and Bigsby, we're talking about Josh Allen. It's like, oh yeah, we got this guy at quarterback like that we've never really had in Jacksonville. I want to talk about him with his lead story every day.
I think it's just as simple as like, I think we understand that he might not do it every time, but he can make every throw. And at a time you just, I don't know if, I guess take it for granted isn't the right word, but I think we all believe he can do that. Now, I think there's a part of it that it's not always consistent. He's going to miss throws. Everybody does. He missed some on Sunday. But the part that the throw to Zay Jones, that he can do it. And we shouldn't be super shocked when it happens.
Yeah, and he takes the chance to do it. Now, listen, he missed some too. Like he missed Kirk. He went to Ridley one time, and Kirk was wide open, like underneath. Like I think all quarterbacks do that. If the play works, you usually don't bring it up. But anyway, I just think the ability that he has, to your point, we're already getting used to it. I think we have to accentuate it. But also, don't forget this guy's one of the all-time winners. All-time winners. And those fourth quarter plays, he's not making every one of them. But I think Doug, his ability to win, knows what's winning. Trevor, same way. That just feeds down the line. Like, hey, don't worry, we got this. Like, I got this. And the most overlooked play of the fourth quarter was the 4th and 2. The call to go for it, the execution of it. Do the Jags win if they don't get it? How much are we second-guessing not kicking there with plenty of time still on the clock? But Trevor says, don't worry about it. I don't have my first read open. I'm going to Zay Jones. Easy pass and catch, first down.
Easy pass and catch.
No, that one was. I mean,
I'm just saying the heart attack of the moment didn't feel so much like easy pass and catch.
So I just think you got to keep talking about Trevor. Meanwhile, the big story that came out before the game was the play calling.
Yes.
And people are freaking out about this.
Freaking out.
Well,
like losing their mind.
It doesn't help, in fairness, whether or not you want to believe what the report is and when Press Taylor and how long he's been calling plays.
Well, let's recap what that report is. What did we hear?
I mean, who was it, Rappaport?
Yeah.
Who came out with it and said that the second half of games last year, Press Taylor was calling plays. So now we find out that Press Taylor's calling all of the plays. And then there's some questionable decisions made in the first half of that game. So it just felt like an easy way to throw shots, throw strays.
Do you guys believe that Press Taylor is calling every play?
No.
Every play?
Well, I don't care. 90% of the plays.
Oh, well, then yes, sorry.
Really? You think he's like dialing it in?
I think it's more collaborative than that. I think these guys are talking to each other. I think Peterson and Press are talking to each other throughout the game, throwing ideas out there, and they're mixing it up together, whether it's Press making the call to the helmet or what, but I think it's more collaborative than that.
I think there's moments where Doug pulls out the Waffle House menu, and then a lot of the time I feel like Press is handling the situation.
I didn't have this in my – we thought Doug – first of all, Doug at his opening presser when he got hired last February said, I'm calling plays. And he also said something that I loved about the news conference, and I didn't think enough people talked about this. Kasey, you know where I'm going.
Oh, I already do.
He said, hey, if I don't feel like I'm calling it well that day, I'll hand it off to somebody else. I don't know how common that is. I've just never really heard an offensive guy say that.
It's awesome.
It's usually a very stubborn position. But we also have to look back at last year, and you know Press Taylor's heavily involved, right? He's in the room with Trevor all the time. He's been with Doug. He knows Doug. He knows what to expect. Like, it's like us doing a show now. We've been doing the show for a year plus. If we've been doing the show for 5 years, we know exactly when you're going to do whatever, Kasey. Push a button, or Aaron's going to
say something,
forget his headset, or whatever. I don't know. But
I thought you meant say something that we all go,
if you're around people enough,
early today, didn't it?
you know it. So he's got a great feel for what Doug wants. But I find it interesting. I think it is collaborative, in part because remember the ETN play last year, 4th and 1 with the Chargers?
Oh, yeah.
That was Phil Rauscher, the offensive line.
That's right. It was.
Dude said, Philly, bro. I know what I'm doing.
So that's where collaboration, what it looks like. I have a hard time believing that Doug is not heavily involved in the play-by-play calling.
I mean, if it was a disaster, he would step up and say something, do something.
Marone used to do it too. He'd jump in, but I just think he's more involved with that, guys. He's looking at the sheet, communicating, even in the preseason. We wouldn't have seen that as much. Like, you would have used the preseason to do this. Or I
will
just don't
say,
think we would have noticed anything different.
From the broadcast yesterday, they showed moments where I do not believe Doug was doing, I won't say anything, but like they were on offense. They showed Doug. I was like, Press is in control.
And Doug's hanging out at the football game. If you compare the actual numbers from last year, I mean, they are pretty dang close first half and second half. It's almost negligible on almost every given stat with the exception of passing touchdowns and passing interceptions.
Yeah, I look at this and say, this has the Eric Bieniemy situation written all over it to me. This is what this is. And I think this is part of the league right now. I think, let's just add everything up. The Jags were really successful at the end of last year. Press Taylor gets some credit for that. He should. Absolutely should. Jim Bob Cooter, Mike McCoy, Doug Peterson, they all should. We said that all along. Doug's going to get the most credit. But Doug is getting a lot of the credit, right, for it. So they do well. He keeps Press Taylor here another year. Remember, he denied Baltimore the opportunity to speak to Press Taylor.
Nice.
In part, they wanted
this offseason or two offseasons?
They wanted the continuity of keeping this around Trevor. He's buddies with Andy Reid. Andy Reid, I don't know the whole story in Kansas City, but Bieniemy has to go to Washington basically to call plays by himself to get out from underneath Andy Reid.
To get some kind of credit.
To potentially get a job and get some credit is what it looks like from the outside looking in. I don't know any more details than that.
It certainly seemed that way, yeah.
So this, to me, says that. Because I think Press Taylor is a coaching candidate at the end of this year if the Jags do well.
It says, hold on, it says what? Because I think the Andy Reid thing's different because I think we believe there's something else to the Eric Bieniemy not being a head coach, not necessarily just the football part of it. So you're saying Doug to Press is giving him more than you believe Andy Reid was giving his? Because Doug's been in that position with Andy Reid. So you think that's, I'm going to keep you here, but I'm also going to give you more while I'm here. You're going to help us, but I'm also going to help you. You think that's what we're talking about?
I think it's more I'm going to help you, though.
Yeah, it's like on-the-job training.
I think it's I'm going to help you so people don't just say it's me and Trevor next year when you're in interviews.
I got you.
And they're going to say you're worthy and capable of this. Yes, you've been with Doug. You come from that tree, but you've been calling plays. You've been part of this. You're going to put in an offense that's going to put up 30 a game, and you're the guy calling plays. He's already very good at the podium. He's a very good talker. He's been around the league now. His brother's a head coach and having success. He's got a lot of the stuff. And so I think they now have to position him for his future to be like, hey, this isn't just I'm good under Doug. I can do this as well. And so I believe this is a little bit of positioning. I also can believe that he's calling some plays. That's okay.
Wouldn't that be a wild thing if true, if you just break it down to the point of Doug's like, I'm going to help you, my guy. And like he's letting him call plays and letting him do these on the job in real life in the NFL, win or lose. Doug's job relies on it. He's like, yeah, I'm just bringing this guy along too. Like that's a wild on the job training situation.
Well, what if it's not just a favor? What if this is how Doug wants to coach? This is how he wants to manage his team, is have a very collaborative relationship with his guys.
Well, I think
he doesn't get enough credit.
I think he already does. I think he already does that. And I think we started with this, and I think everybody can believe it. It's a collaboration to begin with. This isn't just one guy making every single call. I think this goes back to, Nathaniel Hackett was like this with Doug Marrone from the Buffalo days, and then back here in Jacksonville when eventually Gus Bradley gave him the calling duties with Blake Bortles, and then that relationship grew, and he was with Marrone, and 17 happened and all that stuff. And I know where Hackett ended up, but now he's with Rodgers. So, like, that's part of the maturation of all this. And the one thing I think Doug really knows is, hey, Press Taylor knows Trevor just about as good as anybody. He spends probably more time around him than anybody. He's the closest in age to him, so the relatability is there as well. And again, career path matters. I think Doug, what he proved when we went back to Philly and what everybody said about him in Philly, he's a relationship guy. He's a people guy. He's genuine. So I don't think he's doing anything at the risk of losing football games or stunting the growth of his franchise quarterback that he doesn't fully trust. But I also just don't buy that he's not heavily involved in the play calling right now. I'm not there yet.
Can't they both be true, though?
I think they can, but I'm not.
Can't he not be heavily involved, but also, like, there and present and watching just in case, but, like, it being done well by Press Taylor? Like, I believe both those things could be true.
I think so, too. I think Baby Press is good, and they have a great they've been together a long time. Like, he could probably call the play that Doug was going to call last year every single situation.
This is probably the last season we'll see Press Taylor here, don't you think?
If things go well, I believe that to be the case. But that's my take on it, the view on it. I really don't think it meant a lot. What I actually put out there was the timing of it was almost a setup to fail for Press Taylor. I didn't like the timing of it.
Like right before the game?
Yeah, because if it didn't go well, this is exactly what was going to happen.
I agree with
this
that.
This can't be Press Taylor's fault if a third down run doesn't go well.
The only reason I don't agree with that is because
multiple times.
But the opposite didn't happen, right? Like the team won, and we're looking at the stats. They're nearly identical from last year, and yet there's still all this flack coming the team's way, Doug's way, Press's way from this story. Like, was there ever going to be a situation where this story comes out and everyone's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, post game of a win.
Yeah.
Like if they just did it at 4 instead of at 12, it would have been better.
All right, but they still won, and there's still noise, is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I can tell you this, though. This wasn't like – this is obviously from either Doug or Press's camp or somebody there put this out to Rappaport in what felt like an intentional way to get him on the radar to me. That's the way I read this situation. Like, that's the way this was – it wasn't like everybody had it. I don't think it got snuck out, leaked out there by, like, Jags PR or anybody like that. I think this was directly from – Doug, honestly. I think this was directly from Doug.
Well, if it's from Press, it's a different situation.
Yeah, that's a different. Is Press's agent doing it? Like, I doubt that. I doubt that's happening.
That would seem like a weird way to start off a good vibe season.
Agent's like, this offense is going to be good. He's calling the plays. And then after the first half, he's like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah. Here's what
no.
Yesterday, Press Taylor, I thought, got a lot of heat. I actually didn't think Press Taylor called that bad of a game. I think they couldn't block up front, and that impacted play calling. Now, could he have rolled out a couple times? Could you use more screen? Yeah, I could be critical about that. But I think what's a little bit unfair right now is if things go bad at all in Jacksonville on the offense during a game, that it's Press Taylor's fault. You know what? No, it's not. It's Doug Peterson's fault. because he's putting him in charge of calling plays when he could call them himself.
Yeah.
And at least it's out there in the public eye now. It's on Doug. It's not on press. At least for now.
You got really heated right there for a second.
It's on Doug. I got my wife saying, what's up with the play call with press? It's like you read a headline, all of a sudden everything's now Press Taylor's fault. I don't get, I didn't like that. I just thought it was a little mistimed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
American Legion Post 197 has been established as a Mayo Clinic community health hub. This year, they're aiming to raise $50,000 to help educate black men about prostate cancer. Approximately 1 in 4 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer compared to 1 in 8 white men, and they're 2.2 times more likely to die from it. As a community health hub, Post 197 is trying to provide much-needed information to this community, but that takes funding. Call 904-705-2469 for information and to donate.
Jasmine presents their 17th annual Coming Out Day breakfast, honoring corporate and community partners engaged in creating safe space and equitable policy for the LGBTQ community. Join the fun October 24th at the Hyatt Regency Riverfront, Jacksonville. Come for the keynote speaker and this year's Diamond Award winner, and take a helping of inspiration with you right through the week. Individual tickets are now on sale. For everything you need to know, visit jasmyn.org.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Jaguars football is right around the corner. After an exciting playoff run last season, optimism is at an all-time high. Tailgaters is right across the street from Everbank Stadium, offering clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on well-kept grass lots. Every game at Tailgaters is a championship experience. Demand is high following last year's historic season, so spaces are very limited. Secure your parking today at tailgatorsparking.com. If you wait, you're going to miss out. tailgatorsparking.com.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Oh, we got to bring South Beach Gary to the fold and let him have his fun. We'll let him have it. Tua was big time. Tyreek Hill is unguardable. And the Dolphins get the win. The Chargers, somebody tweeted at me, actually, said, imagine being the Chargers, their last 2 games.
Oh.
The fans of the Chargers.
That's true.
I mean, that is nuts. Up 27-0. They blow it. And then you score 34 points.
Yeah, you should win that game.
And it was 3rd and 10 on the last one, I think, right? Tua to Tyreek. That was the big bomb down the field before the touchdown to take the lead. Yeah. And they have good players on defense, and Staley's a defensive guy. There's your guy, Kasey. I mean, but
the
nobody can.
has started.
Nobody can defend Tyreek Hill. They really can. And
It's
I don't want to take anything away from Tua. He keeps finding them. He threw a beautiful touch pass for the go-ahead touchdown. So he was fantastic. Go ahead, South Beach Gary. Between the Orioles and the opening day of the Dolphins, you're having a heck of a month.
It's a South Beach kind of Monday.
You know what makes me the most, guys, about the Dolphins game? Toronto, they didn't play, and they didn't come close to sacking Tua. At 45 pass attempts, they didn't sack him.
Yeah, it's impressive. Good blocking.
That's very good offensive line play.
That's one thing I'll say about Mike McDaniel. He hates to call the pass play.
I thought, because, when they played the Chargers last year, remember, without Terrell Armstead, they were into his face all game. They rushed him and hurt. I was worried about it happening again. But that guy, Lamb, he did a hell of a job replacing Armstead. He had fellow players come up to him and said, "Man, you had a great game." You know he had a good game. When they're coming up there telling him, "Man, you really played your butt off today."
You got anything bad to say about the Jags?
Yeah, Brandon Scherf. Has there been an update about Brandon Scherf's injury?
Yeah, it's an ankle sprain, so they'll monitor it.
Oh, so no timetable on his return, huh?
No, I mean, he tried to get back in there yesterday, so I don't know. And I think they're going to be comfortable with Shatley. So, why not let it heal and hopefully get him back in a couple weeks?
Look, the Jags, one they did get, it's not a pretty contest for me. It's the bottom line business, guys. Did you get the W or did you get the L?
Yeah.
And both Miami and Indianapolis, they went on the road and they got big W's. It's hard enough to win, let alone to go on the road to win. You got to give them credit. But boy, did the rookie coaches struggle, guys, this week. Not a single W. And so far, Sean Payton, he hasn't been able to help Russell Wilson a whole lot yet, has he?
No.
The great quarterback guru.
Still early on.
Is Russell Wilson finished, guys?
Yeah,
I don't think he's finished.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
He's without like 2 or 3 of his main pass catchers. Please
ask me in a month.
Yeah.
South Beach Gary, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. It's hard to win in the NFL. People say, like, everybody will always say it.
That's what they be saying.
Then it's hard to win if you're a rookie quarterback. Like, it's really hard to win if you're a rookie quarterback.
Sure.
And it's hard to win if you're a rookie coach. I actually thought Shane Steichen and the coaching staff of the Colts did a terrific job to put themselves in position to win the game.
Are they less bad than you thought they were?
Yeah, I probably disregarded.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I disregarded about the Colts. I've been watching the Colts play for 15 years, close up. And even if you watch Peyton before that, they are not a physical. Physical does not come to mind. When you play the Titans, it does.
Yes.
It's like you better be in for a street fight. The Ravens, the Steelers. There are teams that's going to be a black and blue game.
Yes.
Not the Colts. That's what surprised me. I think Steichen brought that from Philadelphia, that mentality, and I think that showed up with their front that said, hey, we're going to be this. And also with the size of their quarterback, they can play that on the offensive side too when they get Jonathan Taylor back, et cetera. And I thought their offensive line, overall did a pretty good job.
They did.
They're on like their third running back. And the Jags defense did a nice job against the run. Totally eliminated the run. It was useless to run the football if you were the Colts.
Unless you were Anthony Richardson.
Well, but even that, he got dinged up 2 occasions. Something to keep an eye on. And I thought it was pretty telling that Trevor Lawrence, his post-game message to Anthony Richardson was like, the hits feel different up here. Take care of yourself.
That's for real.
No, that's pretty interesting. He took the time to say that to Anthony Richardson. And Richardson already banged up after 1 football game in the NFL. So you just can't sit there and run him the whole time, or he's not going to make it, as big as he is. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Josh Allen with maybe his best performance in a Jags uniform. We'll talk a little bit about the pass rush of the Jags next on ESPN 690.
Best Bet is number 1. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play against a designated player, 1 card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war. Just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Innovation Refunds has been asking small business owners to see if they might be eligible for a payroll tax refund through the Employee Retention Credit, also known as the ERC. The ERC is a tax refund for businesses that had kept employees on payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. If you are a small business owner at 5 or more full-time W-2 employees, you can learn about your ERC eligibility by calling 1-843-REFUNDS or going to innovationrefunds.com. Bill Goodman is one of the owners of Ford & Goodman, an accounting firm in Richardson, Texas. Bill is a CPA, and he didn't think his business would qualify until he spoke with Innovation Refunds. And even a CPA like Bill understood how different filing an ERC claim is from doing regular income taxes. That's why his accounting firm didn't do their own ERC tax return. They went to Innovation Refunds. Go to innovationrefunds.com to determine your eligibility, innovationrefunds.com, or call 1-843-REFUNDS. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. They work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply.
At Community First, seeing members live their best lives is our best reward, but this one's pretty good too. We've been named Florida's Credit Union of the Year by the League of Southeastern Credit Unions and Affiliates. To see why and how we can help you, visit communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
Grab an ice-cold can of Celsius Tropical Vibe and experience a refreshing blast of starfruit pineapple. Celsius Essential Energy Drinks are the perfect way to beat the heat all summer long. Find Celsius Tropical Vibe at a retailer near you or visit Celsius.com to learn more.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. Getting ready for company with the Samsung Family Hub Plus refrigerator.
And football.
That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. Search for recipes, check out scores, or even stream the game to the screen at the same time, so you never miss a second of the action. Which means you can make your famous buffalo chicken dip and have
more time for football.
For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Samsung and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like, what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Aaron Rodgers grabs center stage tonight in a new shade of green on Monday Night Football. The Rodgers-Jets era officially begins against the Bills tonight. Hype's been building for New York since the acquisition of the future Hall of Fame quarterback from Green Bay. Couple of keys for Rodgers and the Jets to get the W tonight, explains ESPN's Booger McFarland.
He's got to be a ball distributor. He doesn't have to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. He's just got to be the guy to be the ultimate point guard. They got a ton of weapons. Yes. A ton of weapons. He's got to get the ball to those weapons, but it all starts with the offensive line. That's been the biggest question mark with this team all summer long. Can the offensive line protect him?
Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus with Peyton and Eli on the Manning Cast on ESPN2. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting the NBA's Board of Governors on Wednesday expected to approve more strident rules and punishments to limit the resting of star players for nationally televised and in-season tournament games and instances of multiple All-Stars sitting out the same regular season game. League would be able to fine teams over $1 million for violations.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
All right, how about an overreaction or two? From the league, from the Jags game?
I love overreactions.
The Rams are winning the Super Bowl. Did you see that? 30.
That was nuts that they won like that.
On the road?
I'm not like this huge Seattle guy. I just wasn't a Rams guy.
Stafford's
Without
back.
Kupp?
Broken neck and all. Holy cow.
Well, what do you got from that's the league one.
Oh, yeah.
Anything on the Bengals?
Nope.
I mean, I feel like Aaron already gave us his overreaction on the Browns.
On the Browns, it's not an overreaction. It's an actually accurate reaction from Man of the Year, Aaron Schachter. No.
I have nothing to say on the Bengals. I will wait until next week because I'm pretty sure they got blown out week 1 last year as well, and we did all of this about 365 ago.
I don't think the Bengals have anything really to worry about. I think it's a tough game, tough weather conditions, really tough defense.
If anything, I feel better about the Bengals.
Bengals never really known for their
Ravens
defense.
look bad. Steelers look bad. Feel even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little like, you don't want to get off. I mean, that was it. Outside of Daniel Jones and the Giants, Joe Burrow looked the worst in the league yesterday.
It was a rough game for the Bengals.
You see Kenny Pickett play?
I will say the final score was a little bit misrepresentative. If you were watching throughout the game, it was relatively close. Like, it was still winnable for a guy like Burrow until the end.
He had less than 100 yards passing.
I understand.
He was 11 of 25 at one time.
Rough
game. They took them all out.
Rough game.
Rough day.
Rough day at work. And not coincidentally, his first day back after a long absence, 6 weeks on that calf injury.
Yeah, there's something to that, probably.
Sure.
I think we think this stuff's automatic. I get it.
Also, those guys were in his face all day.
I give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know what it says more about. The Bengals hold the phone or the Browns better than you think?
Who thinks?
Not you.
All right.
I don't think either of those things are it. I think the Bengals are fine. I just think they can't beat Cleveland. They seem to always have that problem. I think week 1, they had a problem last year. They got another one this year. And Cleveland just, won a game against one of the worst performances in the league. I don't believe in Cleveland after this, and I'm not out on the Bengals.
This is an overreaction segment.
Similar question.
I'm out on the Bengals.
Yeah, similar question where you get to overreact. All right. Is Washington one of the league's worst teams, or are the Cardinals going to accidentally win a few games this year?
I think Washington has a better chance of being one of the worst teams.
Because I'm not a believer in that team. If you watched them at all yesterday, it was kind of gross.
I'm in on Washington.
Sam Howell looked the best when he was running for his life. He did not look the best when he was back there throwing the rock.
That was rough.
I give you some other ones. Tennessee's washed.
I don't think that's an overreaction, bro. They stink.
I watched Tennessee very closely in addition to all the other games that were going on in that early slate. And I'm telling you, that offense cannot move. And by the way, Tajee Spears played more snaps than Derrick Henry. Spears was out there every third down. Derrick Henry was not. I don't know what that's about, to be honest with you, but that was extremely deliberate and purposeful on Mike Vrabel's part. I don't know. You think about Mike Vrabel, you think about the Titans, you go, you can't imagine that guy leading a turd of a team for 17 games. I don't know how they're going to move the ball. The only time that offense was able to go anywhere yesterday was on a Derrick Henry stiff arm or a 4-yard slant to DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, and that's the thing. They've got players that could be on the back end, and you just don't know how fast it's going to go. Tannehill, even Derek, can he continue to do what he's done at his age? And DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean, it's a possibility that this is what they are, or was this just a week 1 game? Now, I'll say this. I thought the Saints were going to be better than what they looked.
Oh, I tell you what.
Up against a hard defense.
Yeah, come on. I
That's
mean,
all I'm
yeah,
saying.
but
also,
that should have been better.
I think the Saints offense might be a little more complicated just because they had to call Gruden in to help Derek Carr. And so you got to give him a couple of weeks, get in there and get settled. Mike Thomas looking good and healthy for the first time in what? I don't think he's played in like 27, 28 years at this point.
Yeah, it's been a really long time.
Olave
was good.
still looks amazing.
They couldn't run the ball. The Jamal Williams thing didn't work.
That didn't work, but they only were down to 1 running back. They were down like 2 or 3 running backs.
No, like when Kamara comes back, they'll be fine.
And then Shaheed looked good as a wide receiver. Like that team will be a problem this year. But Brent, what do you think about?
Real quick, let me stay on the Titans for 1 second.
Okay.
The Titans, I think that's what they're going to do to everybody. They did it to Jacksonville here in December, and the Jags had to pull one off.
Just play gross football?
They do. That's what they're going to have to do.
Well, like great defense.
They're going to be like Georgia Southern playing against everybody, right? Like they play or Army or Georgia Tech. Like they're just going to play a totally different game than the way the NFL works right now because I think they got to muddy everything up. I mean, last year they scored 17.5 points a game. It was 28th in the NFL. I don't see them scoring that much more this year.
15 last night. They picked off right where they left off.
But Vrabel can coach them up to try to really probably clamp down some offenses and make you under your average. I think Derek Carr and company might be a better offense than 16 points.
Yes.
But they might do that to Jacksonville, too, to try to keep them in the low 20s or high teens.
I just think if you can bottle up DeAndre Hopkins and make sure Derrick Henry doesn't run for 200 yards, it's a W against the Titans every time. That team cannot move the football, and you'd think that Tannehill wouldn't be someone you want to worry about. He did not look good yesterday. He did not look good. That offensive line is rough.
Get mayonnaise in there.
What are you going to ask me?
Well, I was going to ask you, is this an overreaction? The Packers were right to move on from Aaron Rodgers and go with Jordan Love. 38 points they put up yesterday.
Without Christian Watson.
Without their number 1 wide receiver.
I would say for a variety of reasons before they even played a game, they were right.
Like, yes, is it an overreaction? I would have told you this in April.
But I like where you're going with this. And I don't know. I didn't watch that game.
Well, he wasn't perfect.
So I don't know if he was
15 of 27, 245, but 3 touchdowns. He was efficient with the football. He moved around in a way that you haven't seen Aaron Rodgers do for 2 or 3 years. But the offense looked cohesive.
Well, that's a good word, though, because Rodgers wants control of a lot.
Yes.
Fighting with the head, not fighting, but, probably some disagreement in there and had to smooth stuff with the coach and everything else. And Hackett probably made that all better because of their relationship. But this now, like, LaFleur can do what he wants to do with his offense.
I'm buying that.
Right?
I'm buying that. I mean, when I was at Jets practice via HBO Max watching Hard Knocks, I saw Aaron Rodgers instruct Dalvin Cook on how fast to approach the handoff. Down to like the half second, he wants him slow down a touch, speed up a touch. And so talk about control. That's a guy who needs to control every aspect. But to your point, LaFleur now gets to stretch his arms a little bit. I think Jordan Love's going to end up benefiting from that.
What about Justin Fields? Any overreaction on Chicago and Justin Fields yesterday, or was it just
I'm the wrong person to ask? I wasn't necessarily a buyer in the MVP noise and the big offensive juggernaut noise for Chicago. And so what I saw yesterday was they're still a bad team. But I definitely would have expected a little more wide receiver help yesterday, and it did not come.
Yeah, I thought he should have been better, but I never believed the MVP stuff either. I still think he's the guy. I think he's their quarterback. Barring something insane, they get the number 1 pick, you always pick Caleb Williams 10 out of 10 times. But, yeah, just whatever kind of day.
All right, Brent, I got an overreaction for you.
Okay.
After last night's game, have the Cowboys unseated the Eagles as the team to beat in the NFC?
That's interesting. I was just sharing something else on Twitter X.
Is it nudes? Because no one wants to see that.
No, but I think at this point, Daniel Jones would rather have that out there than that performance last night.
It's a good point.
And so we'll flip it around in a second. Not the picture. The topic. The Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go there, but this guy might have predicted the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl this year, so I might get there.
You did?
Yeah.
What's up, man? Come on.
Yeah, I listen.
I saw the script.
I don't know, but what they did to the Giants was crazy.
It was crazy.
And I think the flip side of that question, and I don't know if this is it's got to be an overreaction, right? It's one game. Daboll did a nice job last year. He was the coach of the year. Jones played well with them last year.
They lost by 40.
They
just lose by 40.
No, that looked like a varsity JV game on Sunday Night Football. And did the Giants make a 4-year mistake?
Oh boy,
with Daniel Jones. I mean, do we know that already? Can you look like that if you're not a mistake?
Yeah, you can look like that.
You can
against the right defense.
Did you watch Trevor Lawrence play his first year?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, but that year, was he going to be a playoff quarterback?
No. Trevor looked like that.
Really?
I don't think that's
I know
a fair
the first
question.
game he threw 3 picks, but he also threw 3 touchdowns.
I'm not talking about the first game. I'm talking like as you got through the thick.
I'm trying
Tennessee,
to think.
the game that got Urban fired. That was awful.
It was a 4-pick game. The New England game was really
New
bad.
England was awful.
Okay, fair.
The Rams game.
Okay, but Daniel Jones is in like year 5.
Yeah,
I
Daniel
get
Jones
it,
is not a rookie.
I get that. I
This is
understand.
like
but
Burrow's game yesterday.
has anyone ever looked that bad and it not be a mistake? The answer is yes. It's happened.
Yeah, that's true.
That team is not going to be good this year.
They did, they got him Darren Waller, and that was fine. Like, he was okay. But when they did the little introductions of their offense, I was like, who are these people? They're still running Slayton and Shepard out there with Paris Campbell? Nice.
That's nonsense.
This
is why it was so crazy when they gave him $40 million. Like, for what? Is he also playing wide receiver?
Because that's the bargain rate right now.
Here's the thing. I don't think that
at quarterback, $40 million.
I don't think they should have paid him $40 million, so don't get that lost in this equation. But I also think a guy that turned it over like 5 times last year, doing that, I think you can look at what happened last night and go, that's not going to happen again. You can't put in a whole couple seasons worth of evidence of he doesn't throw a ton of picks and then that happened and be like, nope, this is who he is.
Yeah.
So again, shouldn't have paid him, but I also don't think it's that deep. They need to go get him help.
I wish I could find. Yeah, and they didn't do a good enough job of getting him help. He needed more help last year.
And he almost didn't have Saquon.
And now they might not have an offensive line like at all.
I got an overreaction for you guys. Definitely will disagree with. The Miami Dolphins are no better than an 8-9 team when Tyreek Hill is not on the field. With Tua at quarterback.
I would say, let me raise your overreaction to Tyreek Hill might be the most valuable player in the NFL to their team.
To their team or in the whole NFL?
I
You
say
said
outside
two
of
things, Brent.
outside of quarterback.
I'll raise you one.
Oh.
An overreaction.
Here we go.
The Miami Dolphins are the best team in the league far and away. It is not close.
You really did. You raised like 3 overreactions there.
It is not close.
You took a match and you threw it on a whole tank of gasoline.
If Tua can stay healthy and not get sacked, that offensive line keeps him upright, they don't lose to anybody.
He did
They
have
can't play
34
defense.
points, man.
And it's not just the Chargers thing. They didn't have a great defense last year either.
Yeah, I get it.
And they've got players on that defense.
I get they don't play defense, but that offense might score every time they get the ball.
Also,
barring one drive a game that they throw a pick.
Once they figure out how to confuse Tua, like the running game is non-existent for the Dolphins as well.
Yeah, but they could end up with Jonathan Taylor.
That is the rumor.
They don't. They just need to run both dudes, Waddle and Hill, full on, go deep, and you will run past your guy, and Tua will hit you in stride.
But there are defenses that can prevent that.
Nope.
There are. I mean, you got to play it. And I don't know. I didn't watch that whole game, so I don't know like if the Chargers never mixed it up or whatever. But Tyreek Hill, I think you can make the case. I'm not sure I'm going with you on Miami's the best team far away.
I've never been more in on anything than I am on Miami.
I am going
that's
with
pretty
you, though.
wild. I mean, there are a lot of good teams you could be all in on. Like you could be all in on Philly. You could be all in on Dallas. Be all in on San Francisco after Purdy.
I told you. He texted me. Did he tell you? He's in on Purdy.
I didn't want to
He's
hear
in.
about it.
Holy
I
cow! You
texted
see
him
the
during the game.
Brockinator?
Guy's
I was
never going to
watching the
lose.
game. I was
Never.
watching. Purdy looked good. I was watching that game. I was like, you know what, Case, I'm there.
Here's what I give you with Shanahan. You know I don't like the whole thing with Shanahan, get credit for making bad decisions at quarterback. But he's a tremendous X's and O's guy. Like, he makes that guy, and he proved that last year too, right? You got 3 different players playing that position, and he makes that offense go around whatever the skill set is, and Purdy looks like he's got a little bit of it factor in him. It's weird.
He just makes it happen. Nothing about it looks undeniably sexy. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the most elusive guy. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the most accurate passer. But
this sounds like Brady.
When the opportunity, it really felt like it when I was watching him. Like there was nothing spectacular about him. But at the same time,
he just hits his open receivers.
He just moves the ball down the field he's 11 of 13, moving the ball down the field. Okay.
Well, they really do have a lot built around him for success. I mean, again, I think Shanahan is good at calling and the X's and O's and setting his team up for good stuff. But between Debo, I think Ayuk is as underrated comes. I think everybody else gets attention, and McCaffrey's McCaffrey, and they've got a good line.
Tell you what, he was rated yesterday. Holy cow.
I mean, but Ayuk, I don't think many people talk about him around the National Football League.
You're
It's a little bit like Lockett in Seattle,
yes,
where everybody wants to talk about Metcalf and everything else. But
and another thing we don't give Purdy and San Francisco enough credit for, because we would the other way. Maybe not with Pickett, but we've done this with rookie quarterbacks. They went across the country, not in their time zone, on the road, supposed to be good defense, opening week blew them out.
Yeah, that's
like nothing
supposed
changed.
to be. I think I read last week people had that as like a top 2-3 defense hands down in the National Football League.
I have not seen that.
And
like Purdy just diced them up.
Oh, Pittsburgh. I thought we were still talking about the Chargers. Okay.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh.
So
yeah, people are hot to trot on that.
Same thing with Miami. Miami goes across the world and does it too.
It all seemed like hype on Pittsburgh because it was all like, well, this seems like it could be stuff.
Oh, they showing 2 highlights. On the run, 1 foot, in stride. Come on, I've been on Miami.
He probably does feel like he's at Alabama with those 2 receivers. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, just let it fly and let him run under it.
Tyreek is insane. I'll go back to that point.
What's your take, guys, on the rookie quarterbacks? Any overreaction on Richardson?
So
Bryce Young.
I got one on Richardson.
I spent a little time watching Bryce Young yesterday, and even though he threw a pick, I did think he played an okay game. He's calm, cool, and collected in the pocket. He looks so much smaller than everybody out there. They really have to line it. They've got to put him like 17 yards back in the shotgun.
No,
on almost
he
every
seriously
play.
looks like Kyler out there, if not
That
smaller.
being said, like he's got the temperament to me of Trevor Lawrence out there. It's just calm, cool, every play, 17 guys in his face. He just still looks cool on it. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, did not look as good to me. He looked like he was having real fits yesterday. It might be trouble in Houston if they can't keep him protected out there.
Well, they have the worst team around their rookie guy, right? I mean, they're just not there yet. They've ripped that thing up, and they got nobody to throw to.
Yeah.
So I think he is going to struggle. I thought Richardson did a nice job managing the offense. I told you this, Kasey. I thought he would have a wild play or 2 or 3 every time out. I didn't really think he had a wild play. You mentioned one of the runs, and I can hardly even think of it.
They kept it conservative.
I guess part of it is that.
I mean,
they don't have much on the outside either.
He threw to Pittman, but the rest of it was running back and tight end. The same thing in Carolina.
Never threw it over 10 yards.
Right.
But no, he didn't. I think you can watch that, though, in my opinion. You can watch it and see what he did and keep him in the game against a team that's much better. I know the Jags offense had their problems, but I think you watch that, and if you're the Colts coaching staff, you got to be thrilled. Because I think you can see it, and you're like, okay, there are some things that we got to fix here, but if the accuracy comes down the field, I'm in.
And frankly, when you're playing that conservative, he's not losing you games at that point.
No,
that's a fair point. I don't think he lost the game for him in any way, shape, or form. I think here's the problem, and this is the problem with Anthony Richardson. You got to be careful how much you run because you're going to get banged up.
Yeah, he's got to get down.
And then when it's 1st down and 10, they were going, I think it was the 3rd quarter. They were deeper in their own end. Throws an errant pass on 1st down, 3rd down, throws it over the head. The inaccuracy starts to pop up late in the 3rd quarter. Then in the 4th quarter, when you need to make a play because you're now trailing, you throw it into the hands of the other guy. You can't just say if he gets more accurate. He never has been. And
hasn't played a lot of football.
He hasn't, but he hasn't shown signs of that. The only guy that was inaccurate and turned it into accuracy in recent memory for me is Josh Allen. Cam Newton never turned it into accuracy. He was never an accurate thrower of the football. He always had those issues. But he also did a lot of cool stuff and great stuff and was able to overcome, I think, in many respects because he was before his time. You just hadn't seen. Now we've seen Cam Newton. Defenses have seen Cam Newton, so they know how to attack a little bit more with a guy like Anthony Richardson, or at least defend it. So I don't know. I think he's okay and good enough. I like what you said there. I think you can believe in some stuff if you're Indianapolis. You can.
No doubt. I thought it looked better than I thought it was going to look a lot worse.
I actually would come along with you there, but when you're throwing it, you never throw. When you're playing football in a box and you never throw it 10, 12 yards more than that down the field, it's hard for me to really judge you in this league because you can't sit there and throw it 10 yards. We watched Blaine Gabbert do that for 2 years, and you can't do it. You can't play football in a box, and especially this day and age. You got to be able to throw something down the field and loosen it up.
I got another one for you guys. We saw a couple of these teams that we thought were going to be really bad yesterday do okay. The Bucs ended up doing better than I thought they were going to do.
They won.
Cardinals ended up doing better than I thought they were going to do. Raiders won. Rams won big. So these teams we thought were going to be pushovers weren't yesterday. But I'm curious about the Bucs. Case, you got your guy Kyle Trask on there. My guy Baker Mayfield on there. Brent, I don't know if you got to see any of those highlights. Do you think the Bucs are actually going to be a decent team? Because I am not believing after what I saw yesterday. I thought it looked ugly up front. I meant to bring this tweet to you guys the end of last week, and then we ended up running out of time for it. But it was comparing how long a quarterback takes to get rid of the football. Brady's last 2 years for the Bucs, number 1 and number 2 in the league. Baker Mayfield's same time span was a 7-second difference on average.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy.
That's a lot of
And
seconds.
so this is a man who's going to be hit a lot on a team with the exception of, I think, Tristan Wirfs, not the greatest offensive line.
And Brady had those issues last year.
The Buccaneers.
Yeah. Those are some real issues. One last overreaction piece. The Fox broadcast crew was rooting for Indianapolis. I heard more stuff about like how bad the crew was in favor of Richardson and
that's what they'd be
Indy.
saying.
Is that just your ears hearing that?
There was a lot of Richardson. There was a lot of There was more Richardson than Trevor.
Well, is it possible that was the problem, is that it was just the topic of conversation and not necessarily the lapping of Richardson?
Yeah, that's what I think. I just think it was a lot. And like anytime he
It's a
did something,
storyline.
it was like, oh.
And that's why I ended up going back.
I'm like, yeah, we know.
That's what was surprising about it, Casey. If they were, he never gave you the wow play to go like, oh my gosh.
I do think there's part of it though that it wasn't awful.
Because it wasn't bad?
I think most thought, as I did, he'd go and throw it to the other team a couple of times. Like, he did, but like I thought it was going to be ugly. And when it wasn't, it's like, oh.
Yeah, kind of made.
Okay.
When you
They
think
might
it's
win
gonna,
this.
Yeah. When you think it's going to be ugly, even pretty good looks really good. Kind of thing.
They were the Agnew play away from winning that game.
Yeah.
Because if Agnew doesn't do that, I don't think the Jags win.
Yeah, the crazy thing about all of it, like if you're in the crew, like there's Trevor on the other side. It wasn't like there's some like 12-year vet quarterback that's just like a stopgap guy. I mean,
boy, it felt like Colt McClure was over there for the Jags on the broadcast. They didn't mention Trevor once.
I mean, if you're gonna fall like the Jags as a broadcast team, you can fall in love with the Jags offense.
Nope.
And yesterday you could fall in love with Josh Allen.
Good bit of Calvin Ridley. Good bit of Calvin Ridley.
Okay. Well, there you go. At least
much more Calvin Ridley than any other Jag,
All right,
player
these are
or
like
coach.
the storylines, though.
Yeah.
These are what
It's
people
basic,
are curious
though.
about.
I mean, come on. Dig deep.
Well, like if you're
Journalism,
not
integrity,
if
whatever
you're
it's
not
called.
a fan of the Jags or the Colts, then those are the two storylines you're hearing about.
Well, then if you weren't a fan, you wasn't watching.
How much of a fan are you of Josh Allen after yesterday? Let's get to that. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690, and I don't mean the Bills quarterback.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
It's another partly sunny and seasonably warm day with temperatures up to about 91 in Jacksonville this afternoon. I'm tracking a few isolated storms near I-95 and the coast. Skies stay partly cloudy overnight with temps in the 70s and more the same Tuesday, partly sunny with isolated storms. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Before you buy a diamond anywhere, shop and compare and save thousands at Beard's Diamonds.
Alice Cooper, Too Close for Comfort. No more. October 4th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Alice Cooper, live. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Two roads diverged into a steamy, hot northeast Florida summer. One road led to a home AC system that's unreliable and inefficient. It was fated to fail swiftly. The other road led to a home that's efficiently and dependably cool. Its AC was a mechanical marvel, destined to be a lasting refuge against summer's scorching siege.
Time to take the road most traveled by your neighbors for over 60 years. Hammond Air Conditioning. Hammond is North Florida's most trusted authority for air conditioning services. And with Hammond, your home is never a learning opportunity for inexperienced techs. Hammond's veteran specialists understand how to make a system operate perfectly in our Northeast Florida heat. And they know how to extract all the potential from a modern high-efficiency system. That means they'll design a system perfect for you, one that fits to the temperature you want and will save you money on your electric bills. Right now, get a brand new high-efficiency system for as low as $70 per month, and that's with a 10-year warranty. Go to hammondair.com. This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Hundreds of thousands of knee replacements and hip replacements are performed each year in the United States, and those numbers are on the rise, but some of these surgeries are preventable. Exercise and health lifestyles have a direct effect on muscle strength, joint flexibility, and bone density. Maintaining a healthy body weight can lessen the effects of osteoarthritis and prevent injuries. Hip pain is a common problem and can cause discomfort and difficulty in walking, sitting, and daily life like working and playing sports. If you are experiencing hip pain, the hip orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treatment of your hip pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or learn more at JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Grab an ice-cold can of Celsius Arctic Vibe and experience a refreshing blast of sparkling frozen berry. Celsius Essential Energy Drinks are the perfect way to beat the heat all summer long. Find Celsius Arctic Vibe at a retailer near you or visit Celsius.com to learn more.
Are you searching for your next great ride? Then I've got great news for you. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has just announced an unbeatable inventory of over 500 used vehicles all in one place. I'm talking cars under $18,000, over 200 SUVs, and more than 100 pickup trucks. Even better, right now, get no payments until January 2024. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Mary on Demand is live. Start your marijuana education journey today and learn more with Mary on Demand. Take the self-guided education series at your own pace. You'll decide what you'd like to learn and when. Visit mary.famu.edu to learn more. That's mmeri.famu.edu. Mary, educate, learn, talk.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, we are live at Sneakers tonight for Jags Report Live. Rayshawn Jenkins will join us. We've moved the show from just a half hour to an hour, so 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. tonight on Fox 30 or at Sneakers in Jacks Beach. And Rayshawn Jenkins will join us this Thursday, by the way, for Jaguars All Access. Our guest lined up is Roy Robertson Harris.
Oh. Just a good bed. Sorry, Brent.
Oh.
My bad, bro.
That's just vibing,
I thought
bro.
that was like
disappointing that we're having
No.
Roy Robertson
No.
Harrison.
It's not what I meant. I'm just vibing, bro. This is a good bet. BM 15. This thing kills.
Hey, how about the job of Adam Gotsis? Pretty well done. Foley Fatukasi. Those guys did a good job up front.
They played well on defense as a whole. Me and Aaron were talking about this before the show. Solid defensive performance.
Solid. What would you grade it, Case?
I would say at least a B+.
B+. You going higher, Brent? You looked at him a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to think. I think we have this. Not every defense that's thrown out there every Sunday is going to be the 85 Bears, right? Like, you can't just stop everything.
Listen, you don't get to get an A when Michael Pittman ran down the field with nobody near him. Nobody was in the zip code. You can't get an A there.
So I like your B+, but I was thinking A- just because that was the only play I can remember that I was like, that's brutal.
Can't have it.
They stopped them 4 times, Casey, on 4th down.
I know.
They had 2 turnovers.
That was impressive.
Takeaways are good.
All right. Boys played well, okay? You hear me?
Tyson Campbell's interception was his own doing. He talked about how he baited Richardson on that.
Big time play, right? B+. Sorry.
Trayvon Walker with a sack.
I'm sorry.
Josh Allen with 3 of them.
3 sacks for Josh Allen.
Josh Allen for Defensive Player of the Year.
Boys
You're
got
gonna
home.
start
Josh
the
Allen
campaign?
on pace for 51 sacks this year.
I'm going to start the campaign. All right, how do you guys feel about Josh Allen's performance yesterday? Serious.
I thought it was great.
I thought he was unblockable. Not just in pass rush situations. I thought he was great against the
Let
run
me
as
ask
well.
this, though, Case, as a fan, instead of Brent as a reporter, but Case as a fan, if Josh Allen messes around and has his best season to date this year, contract year, do you feel a little betrayed?
I would be like, what happened?
Like you had it there the whole time, bud. What happened?
Yeah, I would be. I guess I would chalk it up to like classic contract year.
Your push?
Yeah, I'd be a little like, okay, what happened here? I'll give you. We're going back to overreactions. I'll give you the one that I had after Josh played and I watched the game was that he just priced himself out of Jacksonville. That's my overreaction for that.
I don't buy that there's. I don't think that happens.
I don't either. But I don't think that would happen, but I like that. That's good. My overreaction is Defensive Player of the Year. Why not? You're out in front of everybody. 3 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, 10 tackles, I think it was, on the day.
He was everywhere.
He was violent. He said something to us in the month of August about hitting layups. If the reason why his numbers, when he went back and watched the tape last year, reason why guys like TJ Watt get the numbers, Bosa gets the numbers, Joey Bosa gets the numbers. Other guys get numbers like they do is one, because they're good. But 2, when they have their chance, they get it. And they wrap up. And they get the sack. He thought he missed last year. He said easily he would have had a dozen if he just hit the layups last year in terms of finishing those plays that he was already there on. So I get that. Like, that makes a lot of sense. And that's why I think if you're somebody that's going to tell me that he got 2 sacks at like the line of scrimmage because he pushed Richardson out, I'm not here for it today. Because he has all the numbers and metrics and hurries and PFF and everything last year, and you said the sacks weren't good enough because he only got 7. He got the numbers yesterday, and I'll tell you also something about their sack against Richardson. I thought it was one of the plays of the game. Go back and watch that play. Richardson, as good as an athlete as he is, he looks like he's got the corner. And you're like, oh, well, he's going to go run for 6 yards on this and get by Josh. Josh is 270 pounds.
I specifically remember saying on that play, he ain't catching him.
And he got him. And he got him for a sack. I thought that was one of the most well-earned sacks of the weekend by anybody in the National Football League.
One-arm tackle, or was that a different play?
That was a different play. That was the most violent tackle for loss. Like, he had that
was
loud
my favorite
one,
Josh
right?
Allen play.
That was a great one.
Yeah,
that was a great one. It was loud. It shows you the power those guys play with. I thought Trayvon wrapping up Anthony Richardson the way he did when he got home showed you that they want to hit the layups.
Yeah,
and because Trayvon's another guy now, he's violent when he gets to the attack mode.
And by the way, good game from Trayvon. I mean, it wasn't Josh Allen, but it was a good game.
Good against the. What do you have? Give us your PFF numbers on these guys.
So I know you're looking for great news on Josh Allen, and what PFF said was his overall defensive grade was stellar at an 86.9. That's in the blue category. That's in the elite category.
Sounds about right. B+.
Only outplayed overall defensively on the grade by Tyson Campbell with an 89.2 yesterday.
That feels right.
Run defense for Josh Allen. Highlight of his day, according to PFF. Run defense for Josh Allen, 83.4. His tackling grade was good as well in the green, 77.5. That pass rush grade, despite the 3 sacks.
This is what I don't
Not
understand.
exactly where you'd think it would be. It's at a 69.9. And then his coverage grade was actually really good, 75.1, even though he was only asked to drop into coverage 6 times.
Oh, fans will like that he was only asked to drop into coverage. I'll give you this on the Josh Allen thing yesterday. I thought the coverage really aided his ability to get what he got. It wasn't like this massive bull rush move, boom, right? I'll give you that. But again, I'm not listening to that today because all the other numbers showed up all last year and everybody said he didn't have any sacks. So now you got your sacks, you got your allowed tackles, and you have a 3-sack, 3-tackle for loss day with 10 tackles from his position. There's nothing to debate. It was a monster game for Josh Allen.
But a couple of guys who PFF think had a wonderful day yesterday who you don't traditionally see at the top of PFF lists. Trey Herndon putting in a good day yesterday, according to PFF.
They brought him in a couple times on the blitz, didn't they? Mm-hmm. He had 2 quarterback hits, I think.
Yes. You mentioned Foley Fatukasi having a great day yesterday. He had a pretty good day as well, especially on that run defense, which he's expected to have. But his pass defense numbers up there as well. Both of them in the low 70s. That's good grades for Foley. Roy Robertson Harris off to a slower start, but obviously we know what he's dealing with. Sorry. Gotsis, you mentioned to start off the seg. Brent, his tackling grade at 70.5, also in the green. Lots of great tackling grades for the boys yesterday.
Yeah, the defense was terrific, and that was actually something that we talked about going into this game. Tackling Anthony Richardson. Missed tackles last year were a problem for this defense at times. I think you had said they led the league or second in the league last year in missed tackles. I thought they tackled extremely well. And the unsung heroes of the Jags was the corners. Look, I know this isn't the most electric offense. I get it. But the bottom line, you still got to do your job. And they did. They were sticky as hell. I thought Darius Williams was really good. Obviously, Tyson. And Tyson we know is good already, but he's starting to now create the big splash plays from his position. If remember the Houston recovery for a touchdown, and he had a couple of picks late last year. I'm trying to figure that out, how many he had. Did he just have 1 pick last year? Forced fumble last year, and where am I? 3. He had 3 picks. But I feel like they were all in the back end of all his numbers and splash plays felt like in the back end of last year, and now he starts this year with a forced fumble and a pick. Like, he's starting to do those kind of things from the corner position. Yeah. This was a guy early last year we were talking about couldn't get his head around to make a play. Now he's making plays seemingly all over the field, and he's a great tackler. Great tackler. 6 tackles yesterday, too.
And speaking of challenges last year, but coming through to play yesterday, you have Devin Lloyd. And I was expecting to see Devin Lloyd a little more on that pass rush. That's not what we ended up seeing yesterday.
Well, they tried to talk us out of that, and I guess they were right. I didn't even notice Devin Lloyd, which I think is actually a good thing.
Yeah, 72 snaps, 23 on run defense, 8 on the pass rush, 41 dropped into coverage. He did get a great tackling grade with an 80, 76.9 on that run defense, another stellar grade. The pass rush on the limited opportunities he had was at 57.7, giving him a full defensive grade, including his coverage grade, which was somewhat low, a 58.7. So PFF says a poor showing by Devin Lloyd until it comes to the run defense for him.
Kasey, I think go back to Tyson Campbell for a moment, because at that position, and really in sports, you said this about Trayvon Walker last week. We were say, hey, how did Myles Garrett do right away? How did TJ Watt do right away? How did Bosa do right away? Well, when you're an elite player, usually you're right out of the gates. Sauce Gardner, right out of the gates. Jalen Ramsey was good right out of the gates. You knew it.
Sure.
I think Tyson Campbell, man, is like one of the great stories I've seen around here, because
he was awful. Those first 8 games.
He wasn't good. He had problems.
It was like sit him bad.
And to watch somebody develop like that, I think that's pretty odd that you can see it from the outside looking in. I think that's usually a very nuanced thing internally, where the coaches are around you, they hear you talking, they see you doing what all the technician kind of stuff is, and you're getting better at it. But I don't think it's very common for us on the outside to be able to watch a player, at least especially at that position, and say, well, those first 8 games of your career, they were not good. Well, you got a lot better in the second half. Let's see where this goes. Hey, you're really right there if you can get your head turned around and make a play on the ball. Oh, you're making plays on the ball, and now you're on the verge of being elite. That's where we're at with Tyson Campbell, and we've watched it all develop in
2
a
years
35-game span.
Yeah, it's wild.
Isn't that cool, though? It's pretty neat.
I love it. It's great. I mean, now granted, for where you picked him, you kind of needed that to happen.
That's true.
33rd pick. I mean, he had to be good. Nobody said he had to be elite, but we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Urban. Got to give him some credit. He picked him.
He did. And that, to me, was an all-Urban pick. He knew him from like when he was a high school kid and stuff like that. And
he's really good, though.
But I think it does. The nice part of that is it gives you confidence in some of these other, like a Trayvon guy as well, that the development could get there, right?
Urban didn't pick him. I don't know.
No, but I think this has to do with coaching.
Just kidding.
Oh, certainly like you were lit up yesterday.
No, I'm just messing around. I'm just saying. Herbs.
So it'll be something to watch where and when does he done? Like when does he hit his ceiling, Campbell? Because he's not there yet.
No, he's not there yet. But he's still 23 years old.
Yeah, I don't think he's at his ceiling yet, but we might be getting somewhat close. It's one game in, but he's on pace for an interception every game.
Well, if he has a Pro Bowl season this year, he could be like, all right, I think we're there.
I think what'll be interesting is Kansas City, as we saw the other night, is not wide receiver heavy. So
but they throw a lot, though.
So Tyson should have a good day, though. Then you go to Houston. We just talked about that. Your first real test is Buffalo when he's locking up with Diggs. But you could get a situation where when you get to Buffalo, he's got a couple of picks and you're not throwing towards him. And then what does that confidence do? What do the Bills then try to do? The Bills try to stay away from him because he's that good? Like, that'll be the chess match that I'm interested in.
It will be interesting to see if Kelce comes back next week for the Chiefs and then ends up putting in some work because the Jags struggled with it. I mean, everyone struggles with Kelce, but specifically the Jags struggled over the middle to defend that last year, and then whatever happens in Houston. But then if they do it again in Buffalo or against Buffalo with Kincaid, you may have a similar problem developing for that defense.
Yeah, and it's been a problem for a long time, but I kind of think it's a problem around the National Football League. Tight ends can be hard to defend, right? I mean, I think that's part of the issue. One final thought on Tyson Campbell, because, again, I had this in my mind that I really feel like second half of last year, splash plays were starting to come. It may be a little sooner than that. Really, the Denver game sticks out. He had an interception and a pass deflection in that game. Then you go to a forced fumble a couple weeks later. Fumble recovery against the Ravens. And then in Houston, he had the fumble return for a touchdown. And he had like a couple of games late last year where it was like 3 pass deflections in a game, which was a season high. And now you come into this season and you get this right off the rip forced fumble on that 4th down play, which actually was ruled a forced fumble and recovery by the Jags. And then the big interception, which really sealed the deal. Like, that's the other part of it. It wasn't just an interception. It was an interception that won you the football game.
And covered the spread.
That part, too.
He's not worried about that, I'm just saying. Hopefully.
Who knew we'd be raving about the defense so much after week 1? I guess you could have wrote the script with a rookie quarterback and no Jonathan Taylor. But that's really the story here on this Monday is
that's the takeaway.
That defense did a damn good job, and they didn't do it while ahead by 2 scores.
Yeah.
They won because of their defense.
It was competitive. Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I have, like, where they gave you the football. I mean, I said earlier today they should have scored 50 points based on where the defense gave them the football in special teams. Mm-hmm. They started in plus 40-yard line, I think, 6 times. And they ended up scoring 4 of them. But 6 times. That's getting your offense the ball in really good spot.
Oh, yeah.
Especially this offense. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. We'll be back.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine are paying out over $640,000 this month in poker promotions. There will be exciting high-hand specials and no-limit hold'em tournaments all month. Catch Insta Paydays and game day promos at St. Augustine, $300 early bird specials at Orange Park, $500 Fridays at Jacksonville, and much more. Enjoy the best in poker and card games at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 and a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Hey y'all, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K this October 2nd to 8th at Timuquana Country Club. Be sure to check out college football and your Jaguars on the Jumbotrons in the Publix Tailgate Village, Birdie Beers at Circle K Party Porch, the ViStar Patriots Outpost, and more. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the legends of the game compete for a spot in the PGA Tour Champions playoffs. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier Softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
If you're a new parent, your baby means the world to you. But sadly, an average of 17 Northeast Florida families lose their babies to sleep-related deaths each year. Please make sure your baby always sleeps alone and on their back in a separate and safe sleep environment, like a crib, pack and play, or bassinet. Also, keep their sleep space free of covers, pillows, toys, and bumper pads. Learn more at wolfsandchildrens.com/safe sleep. That's wolfsandchildrens.com/safe sleep.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day in September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME and take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code OUTCOME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
You got to share that number on the edge rusher for PFF, the leading edge rusher.
It was a list of the top 10 players in pass rush win rate at the edge in Week 1 so far. Obviously not counting tonight's game between my New York Jets and the failing Buffalo Bills. Top 10 players in pass rush win rate at the edge position Week 1. You would think you'd see names like Myles Garrett up there, and you would, number 9. You'd think you would see T.J. Watt up there, who's also tied at number 9 with Myles Garrett. Kwity Paye. Heard that name a lot.
Boy.
During the Jags game. He was up there at number 3. Big day for Kwity.
That's bad.
Will Anderson Jr., the Rook.
Nice.
Young man showing up number 4 on the list.
Very good. Got mini helmets to sell. Need them gone. Here we go.
There was even a Dante Fowler sighting.
I mean, they play the Giants. Come on.
But number 1 in the whole league, folks. Better roll out that red carpet and get your keys made. Because Arden, key to the city, tops that list.
How many? Did he say how many snaps he had?
8.
Is there a minimum? Is this like batting average?
Played 1 snap and he blew the guy out.
Yes, that's it.
Wow. Look at Arden Key go.
So it doesn't say?
I can go grab it.
I wonder how much. I didn't see. I wonder how much he played. Because that's part of the reason he went there, I think, is because he was going to play more.
Want to get some snaps.
Listen, he's a good player. I think he proved that. I do think the Jags would have loved to keep him. I don't know why it fully went sour. I do think it's a snap count thing. I think, hey, I want to play more.
I mean, the Jags, though, I understand that PFF has him first in win rate, but if you're the Jags, you look at your day and go, all right, fine.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah. I
don't know if it'll be that way in week 10.
I'm not talking about even week 1. I'm just going back to, March.
How it happened,
right?
yeah.
And I do think, listen, we all would have loved to see it. That was a big deal when it didn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people have kind of forgotten about it. But he's a good player, and he's only 24 now, probably 25 years old, and I think he's going to be a good player. He might be someone over the next few years that we say they had a chance to keep him and they should have found a way to keep him. Or we might also say he's like Jan, who puts up numbers, but he's going to play for 5 different teams for whatever reason. I don't know which way it's going with Arden Key, but I do think he's a pretty productive player.
So yesterday, the Titans defense only played 2 guys 100% of all defensive snaps. That was Sean Murphy Bunting and Kevin Byard.
Oh.
That was 65 snaps. Arden Key to the City was out there for 55% of them, 36 snaps. It's not a slouch.
It's more what I got from the Jags. The Jags played Chason, I think, 14 snaps, and Yasir Abdullah, I want to say 5 or 6.
Look, Danico Autry was out there 37 snaps.
So anyway, that's why he went to Tennessee, is to get more snaps. Has there ever been a time where the Jets have a chance to save New York like they have tonight in this year?
You're saying in the wake of a 40-0 humiliation.
But it's not just that.
It's the Mets.
The Mets sucked
the
after spending a gazillion.
Easy, fellas.
The Yankees sucked.
It's the Knicks. It's the Nets who, if you remember, started the season with KD and the boys.
Good news, Case. The Nets are about to trade Ben Simmons for James Harden, so hold tight.
It was a great, I think it was the Daily News.
Good.
I think their back page was, "Let's go Jets" over the Dallas beating the Giants stuff.
It's like a 70-year headline in the making.
They need the Jets.
Badly. I need them. Let's go, boys.
Have they ever been the biggest story in New York?
No.
And they've got a chance
look,
to be.
It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was a while ago, but 2 years in a row with Sanchez, they were going to the AFC Championship, and even then, the love was there, but not in the way it would normally be for a franchise like the Giants or the Knicks out in New York, the Yankees out in New York. Right now, you're right. New York is in need of a gangrene win for real. Prime time against another, quote, New York team.
Now, listen, this
Bills.
isn't like, hey, the whole city. I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you want the Jets to lose probably by 100. But the bottom line is,
at least by 41.
Sports stinks right now in New York. They have all the disappointment, and the Jets are really the story. Whether people are going to pull for them, all that stuff. But I just don't remember a time that they genuinely are the story right now in New York. I mean, the Giants are going to be quickly forgotten about with an effort like that, other than a punchline in the back pages, and also on radio shows and other things. The baseball season has long been over, and obviously both the Yankees and Mets are huge. We got a long time to get to the Knicks and stuff. So what an opportunity. And they have one of the superstars and talents of the last 25 years.
There's legitimate hype on the team, and hype on the Jets is not a thing that happens ever. Ever.
It's just odd. It's really odd to see.
Telling me. I'm sitting here wondering when we're going to lose.
Well, it could be tonight in a few hours.
Most likely.
It's a good game, too. That's a hard one to figure. But I've got a feeling the Bills are just going to take a back seat this year.
That's right.
Why am I not hot on the Bills?
None of us are.
You're not seeing it. You're not seeing the offense. Where's the running back? Where's the option besides Stephon Diggs? You lost Leslie Frazier. The defense took a step backwards. Von Miller's not healthy. There are reasons there.
But it's week 1.
Football at 5. When we come back, the wackiest play of week 1 happened in Indianapolis. What happened there? The wild mixed emotion day of Tank Bigsby. And Calvin Ridley debuts in fantastic style. We haven't even hit on that yet. That's next. Football at 5 on ESPN 690.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Shoulder pain can be caused by repetitive or overhead activities. Bursitis, tendonitis, and frozen shoulder are all examples of shoulder pain without a known injury. Alternating heat and cold therapies, massage, and stretching, and paying attention to your sleep style can help. One of the most important things you can do if you have shoulder pain is rest. You can also reduce inflammation in your body naturally through your diet. If your pain lasts longer than 2 weeks, or if you feel a pop or tearing sensation in your shoulder, the orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or to learn more, go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I wouldn't be exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs and without surgery. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. That's causing all of that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing golf, playing with the grandkids. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. 904-274-5522, 904-274-5522 for a free consultation with QC Kinetics.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Florida License D056341.
Retiring this year or in the next few? You're facing new challenges and rules other generations didn't. That's why Mike Lester is hosting a live online event, The New Reality in Our Retirement, Thursday, September 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Reserve your spot for this no-charge online event with Mike at guardingyournestegg.com/live. He'll also be taking your questions. guardingyournestegg.com/live.
Two roads diverged into a steamy, hot northeast Florida summer. One road led to a home AC system that's unreliable and inefficient. It was fated to fail swiftly. The other road led to a home that's efficiently and dependably cool. Its AC was a mechanical marvel, destined to be a lasting refuge against summer's scorching siege.
Time to take the road most traveled by your neighbors for over 60 years, Hammond Air Conditioning. Hammond is North Florida's most trusted authority for air conditioning services. And with Hammond, your home is never a learning opportunity for inexperienced techs. Hammond's veteran specialists understand how to make a system operate perfectly in our Northeast Florida heat. And they know how to extract all the potential from a modern high-efficiency system. That means they'll design a system perfect for you, one that fits to the temperature you want and will save you money on your electric bills. Right now, get a brand new high-efficiency system for as low as $70 per month, and that's with a 10-year warranty. Go to hammondair.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Week 1 of the 2023 NFL season caps off with the highly anticipated Jets debut of quarterback Aaron Rodgers against the Bills on Monday Night Football. While much of the focus will be on Rodgers, the Jets defense certainly could make things miserable tonight for Josh Allen, and the Bills offense believes unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
This is a defense that is built to stop the Buffalo Bills offense. And what I mean by that is a defense that can rush the passer, a defense that can match up receivers on the back end with their corners in coverage.
Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN and ABC, the Manning Cast on ESPN2 with Peyton and Eli. NBA Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. arrested on charges of assault and strangulation after an incident at a New York hotel lobby this morning, according to New York City police. The incident did involve Porter's girlfriend. The Cubs promoting top outfield prospect Pete Crow Armstrong to the majors, expected to be activated before tomorrow's game against Colorado. Chicago is 3 back of NL Central leading Milwaukee and currently holds the second NL wildcard spot.
When it comes to hiring, you don't need to be doing all the searching, screening, and interviewing yourself. What you need is Indeed, the end-to-end solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available.
Enter the word magic at ESPN690.com. That's MAGIC by 15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football at 5 we go, and this was, you gave us a stat on Arden Key. This was a stat I was trying to find. I read, this is just nuts. Sunday night, the Giants lost by 40+. Lost the turnover battle 3-0 or worse.
He's stealing my tweet, this guy.
Oh, is that what it is?
You son of a gun.
I'll save it.
Well,
I'll save the punchline. Or do you want to put it up right now?
Now you got to do it.
No, I'm saving it. No, I didn't know I was stealing it.
I'll put it up right now if you want. I'll put it up. Put it on the board.
I get closer to, I get quicker to Calvin Ridley.
No. Don't put it on the board with this guy. He won't pay you.
Oh, here is the real controversy of the first weekend of football.
There's no controversy here. Just go back and listen to the show.
Case?
He's not even pushing this. Here's the other part about this. No, he asked for $500. If it was actually a bet, it would have been $1,000 because that's what he said in the next breath.
That's true.
So that's how you know it was never made, because he even asked for $500 and he should have asked for $1,000 if it was a real bet.
Case, calling you a fraud. Comment.
Okay, so here's my comment. Yes, we had that fun exchange.
Oh, fun exchange.
That wasn't too fun for me.
Earlier in the week on Monday. And I texted you guys Saturday night. I said, there's free money available.
You did. You were all over it.
And when we came in on Monday, I said, hey, guys, I had a great betting weekend, And then I talked about the free money. And on Monday, you said, I'll take Nebraska. And I said, put it on the board. And you said, put it on the board. And I said, forget about it. So you're telling me that means nothing? You agreed to a bet on a Monday. All right? I'm not even after your $500, which, by the way, you owe me. But
here we go. Sounds like you locked it in, Brent.
We put it on the board. We forget about it. We made the noise.
Forget about it. It's a contract.
Yeah. I mean, you owe me something.
Yep. Yep.
I'm out here sweating all weekend. Colorado, which, by the way, in the first half looked like the real Colorado. Stinky. Bad. And the second half, they pull it out. I said, thank goodness. But my first thought was not about any of my other bets. No. My first thought was about, I got Brent Martineau, baby.
No.
Here
That was not your first thought. I think I know how much you put on that other one. I was not your first thought.
First thought. I said, I'm going to call Martineau. I'm going to call Marty, see what's up. But then I saw you're on the plane. I said, I can't call Marty.
Jeff Sims, by the way, I hate to say it, Sandalwood kid, good kid. It ain't it right now in Nebraska. He's really struggled out of the gates.
It's never good when somebody says good kid first.
Yeah,
that's the
nice
first.
I like to root for the local guys. You know, you hate it for him, but it's just not happening. I mean, he's been not good in these first couple of weeks for Nebraska. That's just the way it goes. And, well, good win again for Dion and company. Cool scene, too, in Colorado.
Great scene.
Just amazing. Like, I was
Forget
trying
about
to
it
think.
means
There was another guy in college recently I thought that kind of not necessarily to Dion's degree. Maybe it was Dion just at Jackson State.
I was in college. I was pretty popular.
Maybe Jackson State is what I was thinking about.
It's like Brent in the airplane situation.
Is that it doesn't matter if you win a game. You've already accomplished more than, like, your contract is worth.
It matters.
Well, I get it, but I'm just saying before you win a game or before you go 500 or before you win a bowl game, before you win a championship, all the stuff is already accomplished. Their college game days going there next week.
Yes.
Like, they haven't sold out a stadium since, like, the mid-'90s. All this stuff, they're printing money right now in Colorado because
they're getting
of
the
it.
kind of marketing that they couldn't have paid for.
And the same thing happened at Jackson State. It was a short time, but, I mean, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought there was another situation I was thinking the same of, but the bottom line is it's amazing how much hype that can bring. And now if you can win on top of it, and right now he's won. He's beaten – TCU was a nice win because they were national runner-ups last year, even though they're a shell of what that was.
All right, but they were still ranked team week one.
And Nebraska is a terrible football program right now. Let's just be honest. So I don't know how impressive that is. What do they get, Colorado State this week?
3-0.
And then they hit it. They go USC and Oregon. And that will be
tough,
interesting to see. But really, the big winner in all this might be Dion's kid.
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders now in the national conversation for a Heisman.
Yeah.
I mean, all eyes on this dude at this point.
I think I saw Mel Kiper moved him up to, like, number 3 quarterback on his list.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a bit reckless. Because, like, you can see, like, in the first half of that game, you could see that it wasn't, like, you're telling me he looks anywhat close to Caleb Williams and Drake May? No.
No, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying it looks better than Spencer Rattler and Riley Leonard.
I don't think it looks
Jordan
better than
Travis?
I don't think it looks better than Jordan Travis. I don't think it looks better than Riley Leonard. I know he says that. I don't believe it.
Here's the deal. He's putting up the numbers, so he's backing it up. Although
He's
the
balling.
first half
Don't get
was
me
a little
wrong,
shaky, but
I also think Jordan
you can do it
Travis
right
is getting some strays here because he's got such an amazing talent at wide receiver in Keon Coleman.
Just their whole core is pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty legit.
60-plus points for FSU this weekend.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby took a lot of heat.
Yeah, he did.
Yesterday.
So we are not
Well,
gonna
it
pay up
almost
on the bet. Gotcha.
Not right here.
If a bet about it means nothing, folks, if you're listening.
It almost ended up being super ugly for Tank in his debut. Like, had the Jags lost that game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, name another scapegoat.
Nope.
Yeah, it was a rough start. I mean, obviously, the pick off his hands.
Sure.
And then that play.
It's a Kadarius Toney situation.
I feel
Who's
like
back on Instagram, by the way.
I feel like running backs in that's a little bit unfortunate. The play was kind of broken down. It was like it wasn't a normal in sequence, in rhythm kind of play. And you could tell, like, Bigsby was turned around right from the jump, you know?
I get that.
And so I'm giving him a little bit of an excuse here. I think it does happen. The other play is one that will never happen again. That's why I think it's a bit overblown.
You're talking the strip play.
The strip play never. I just saw a quote like they were saying the Franklin kid. He was like, "Yeah, I was just trying to be an a-hole. That's why I stripped it out."
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was doing either.
Good for that kid.
Nobody knew what they were doing on that play.
But the fact that it happens to a rookie, and rookies traditionally have poor ball security skills, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, and it only sits on this kid's shoulders a little bit more.
I'm just saying I've never seen it like
it's
that.
It's not common, but
and
if
we're
I
not
say
going to
to
see
you,
it again.
If I say to you at the end of the season, hey, tell me one of the most memorable fumbles this year, it belongs to him.
I can't get over the fact that whether he meant to do it or not, when the ball was hit out of Tank Bigsby's hands, you had almost every Colt on the field around the ball, and Tank was the only Jag. So, like, yes, you could say it's a fluke play. It's only going to happen once ever. But, like, the Colts are around the ball. The Jags are looking at each other, standing around.
Yeah.
Like, I've never understood just in even plays when it doesn't matter. Like, idea of there's the ball on the ground. We're just going to go over there just in case. These refs be missing stuff.
I think, actually, Kasey, I think your point right there is why I take less. I think it was too much on Bigsby. There were 22 players on the field at the time, and I think 18 of them thought the play was dead and gone, including Buckner, who picked it up like, oh, okay, I guess I'll pick this thing up and then run.
Forrest is like, boy, I see a touchdown.
But I'm a little surprised because of the way that play played out. When they showed the replay, I thought for sure it was going to be an incompletion because in fast motion, it kind of did feel that way. I'm shocked that it was that clear of a fumble and that many people still stopped.
Yeah.
And didn't go get the ball. Like, it was a pretty clear fumble.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, it's just a weird play. I think the big play, though, by Bigsby, Brenton Strange, the offensive line, to get down to the 1, you have to really reset yourself on that because, yeah, they're close. They still got to get in, and that was a 2-yard loss instead of a first down at the 1 and then a handoff into the end zone.
And we were
listen, I'm not here to give flowers to Bigsby today. I'm just saying I'd ease up on him a little bit. I think it was a tough start, a better finish, and a fluke play in the middle of it.
We were talking about that play a little bit earlier during one of the breaks. I went back and watched the replay again. And you were absolutely right. Like, yes, sure, Brenton Strange was in there. The offensive line was in there. Everyone was pushing that man to the goal line. But before they got there, there was a point of contact where it's Tank versus the world. And he's pushing these dudes yards. That's a big dude. That's why you brought him here. But
that is.
It's nice to see it in action.
But the Jags still struggled on 3rd and short. That's another big problem. I don't think anybody's talking about that as much today. I think for a moment or two in the game we were mentioning it. But 3rd and 4th and short, not good.
The most frustrated I got at any point in the game was the Ingram little bubble screen, whatever that. Holy
was it Strange that missed the block?
I was just MFing up and down. I was mad.
I was
like, why are we calling this? Yeah. But that's when you knew, that's when at least I knew for sure that they didn't trust the offensive line.
Yeah.
Because if we're doing that.
Well, they have 2 quarterback sneaks, and I thought both sneaks, I thought Trevor got it.
I didn't.
Again, I'm at a weird angle.
Next to the trash can. Yeah.
And I'm like.
How close are you to automatic on his sneak at this point?
No.
You don't think it's close?
Actually been a bit of a.
No.
I don't.
It's no Jalen Hurts.
I told you this.
Well, no, that's a different thing, though.
I don't think.
To me, this is very Tom Brady-esque on Trevor, the way he does that.
I don't think so yet. I think there are good sneakers and not so good sneakers and maybe middle of the road sneakers. And I'm not talking about what's on your feet. I think he's right now middle of the road.
What if I told you I was going 1-on-1 right now? 1 sneaker on, 1 sneaker off. Would you believe me?
I would.
You're disgusting.
But here's the 3rd downs that I wrote my little cheat sheet. Okay. At one time, they were 3 of 11 on 3rd down. And it was 4, 3rd down, 4, 3rd down, 4. Obviously, 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 11, the next 2. Those are tough ones. But then it was 3rd and 1, didn't get it. 3rd and 5, didn't get it. 3rd and 3, didn't get it. 3rd and 2, didn't get it. And then obviously on 2 consecutive 4th downs, they didn't get it. So this was the problem they went to fix with Bigsby and with Brenton Strange and with their focus on Harrison. Week 1, they didn't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they could trust their offensive line. I didn't think they thought their offensive line couldn't get him a yard. And I don't think
line
they
showed him that. I mean, they showed him who they were early, yeah.
And if you're in that position that early, you got to try to figure something else out. And that didn't work either.
It is a little discouraging, and we can't lose this in the win, that something you put a major emphasis on in the offseason to get better at, it wasn't in week 1.
Well, there was focus on it. But to put a major emphasis to get better on it, I would say you'd have to add a ton of personnel, and that's not what happened.
They spent the first 3 picks doing it.
You spend a first pick on a tackle to play on the bookends to help Trevor with a guy who was going to be suspended for 4 to 6 games. You didn't really know at the time. I don't think you got Anton Harrison to move the ball 2 yards on 3rd down.
Well, they got an offensive lineman who does need to move the ball also on 3rd down and 4th down. They got Brenton Strange, who was first a blocker, then a pass catcher. And they got Bigsby, who was a power back in the 3rd round. They spent effort to get it.
They bought rookies in later rounds as opposed to going out and getting a veteran or a sure thing that they knew would impact it. I think there's a difference.
I just think something to keep an eye on.
They paid attention to it. I don't think they put as much emphasis on it as maybe other people think.
The other side of this, guys, is ETN. I know it wasn't great. They couldn't run the ball. He ended up with 104 yards at the end of the day from scrimmage.
Also in my tweets, I swear right now, if you're giving an ETN stat, we're going to have hands. Let's go. I'm kidding. You can say what you want.
Means he's going to punch you.
I won't, but you guys know how I feel about this, and I don't know if you're on the same page as me or not. I can't remember from our discussion, but I spent a lot of the offseason saying I feel like this dude's one of the most underrated players in the National Football League coming off last season. And I know this wasn't like a shiny Christian McCaffrey 162-yard, 52-yard day.
That's not who he is.
It wasn't one of those things. It was a mutter kind of day instead, and he still popped for 104 yards and made, you said it earlier, I think it, and I believe a lot of other people think of it, the best play in the game, which may not have impacted the game as much, but the block downfield on the one where Ridley steps out of bounds is one of the great plays, and I guarantee you they're showing that one on film 100 times today to the football team.
Hooting and hollering is what they'll be doing. They watch that thing. You remember in the preseason you saw Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones running routes, and Ridley looked like he was at like 2x speed?
Mm-hmm.
That's what ETN looked like on this play. I mean, making it down the field in the time he did. You see Ridley running his face off, and then right by him, a blur. Goes ETN and go lay a block down. Great.
It's crazy.
Oh, it was awesome.
I guess I don't. There are players that there are players you kind of expect that from. We had the Chad Hall interview, and Zay Jones, he said about him, he's like, between whistles, he's never coached anybody who does it better in between whistles. So it's like, okay, well, you expect something like that out of Zay, or maybe it is like a Brenton Strange or a Luke Farrell, or you name it. ETN's more of this like highlight reel guy. So I don't really think of the effort play, the physicality play, the little stuff when it comes to ETN. But again, it's why I think he's a bit underrated, because this guy is tough. And physically, he's able to get it done. He takes hits. He took about 3 or 4 more of them yesterday. Got up, had some good in between the tackles runs, popped one out for the touchdown. But then this effort play right here tells me a lot about who he is as a player. So I don't know. I love ETN, and I think that was like one of the worst games he'll have from a production standpoint all season. I think he's a yards from scrimmage machine for this football team, and I really wish they would get him the ball more in the screen game, honestly.
I agree with you on the yards from scrimmage point. I actually think he's somewhat offensive line proof. And the line could be having a bad day, and ETN's still going to go out and produce. He doesn't necessarily need them to have a good day, but if he's got them, boy, does this guy go off this year. Oof. All the talent in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good player. Really good player. All right. Speaking of really good players, Calvin Ridley.
I mean, impressive wasn't even the word.
You're the guy that did think it was going to take a little bit.
I did.
So you had to be most impressed.
I mean, watching the beginning of that game, I thought maybe like they had 2 guys out there with a 0 jersey on or something.
Oh, man.
You all right, Case?
No.
What happened?
Breaking news. Hold on.
Oh boy.
I said it at the start. Oh, here we go. I said it at the start of the show. I said they were going to be in trouble if Chris Jones got a contract this week on that offensive line.
Right.
Oh.
Well, breaking news from ESPN just came up on the bottom line. Chris Jones and the Chiefs, 1-year deal. Don't know what the money is. They just said 1-year deal.
It'd be one of the more expensive 1-year deals we've seen in a long time.
That stinks.
Normally we'll see a 1-year deal in the range of like $4 to $15 million. This one may be closer to like 33.
Yeah, it looks like it's not out there yet, but yeesh.
1-year deal. So does that mean Chris Jones is walking after the season?
Yeah, that's an interesting one that they didn't lock him up long term. I don't know what that says.
New business in the NFL, because Mike Evans, another one of those guys who's likely leaving. T. Higgins today said he's likely leaving. New business in the NFL. You get a lot more of these big marquee free agent names, I think, coming through. These guys are kind of tired of the franchise tag nonsense at this point.
Okay, so it's 1 year and 1 year.
Okay.
That would
Player
be 2
option
years,
or
Case.
Team option?
Yeah, well, there's 1 year left on this deal, and now there's another one.
Okay, so it's an extension.
It's an extension for a year.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Wild. Maybe they got to figure out Mahomes' deal before they can make any big money purchases.
You know, I would say something that's probably not believed by most. I like the fact that he's going to be there. The Jags, the one thing the Jags, if you want to really dissect some of their success of the second half of last year and even right now in the start of this one, no Jonathan Taylor. Last year, how many games were there was no this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy? Like 14th quarterback for the Titans. There was a lot of that stuff last year. There was, I think it was early in the season, whether it was Bosa or Mike Williams or Keenan Allen or when they routed the Chargers, right? listen, Chris Jones is a heck of a player. I also don't think you're losing the game because Chris Jones is playing.
I don't even think he'll be a factor this next game.
I mean, he might be. He's going to play. I expect him to play. He's a really good player.
He's a great player. He's a great player. And maybe Kansas City gets home on Trevor Lawrence next week. But I don't think Chris Jones is out there producing.
But did you watch their offensive line?
Yeah.
He's like double DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner's good. He's better. And DeForest Buckner wrecked the game.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Kasey. I mean, DeForest Buckner's a really good player.
Okay, then
he's
like,
not double.
All right, then he's like 0.75.
Yeah.
That's less than 1.
Okay, he's 1.25.
There you go. You made it. Nice to see it.
Okay, he's good.
He is good.
He's real good.
Listen, I'm not telling you that he's not going to make a play.
He's good.
I also just like I like the fact that he's going to play. I like that they're going to be full throttle. Now, Chiefs could always use it as an excuse if the Jags do beat him that, he was just back to practice for a week, whatever it is.
They would say that, yeah.
But I'm saying the outside noise, right? I don't mind him being there. I kind of like that he's there. And we're going to talk about this game the whole way. And you know what else? It really, now this protects from overlooking that facet of the game. This is an offensive line that can't overlook anything right now, but now they have to really be locked in detail-wise, effort-wise. They know this guy's going to play, all that stuff. And maybe it actually helps the Jags in this instance, but whatever. It is what it is.
Said whatever. I don't know. If I'm Jags fan, I am disappointed Chris Jones is playing the game, even though I don't think he'll produce on a personal level. That's my
Extremely
thought.
disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, like, Jets playing the Bills tonight. I'm happy Von Miller won't be in attendance. That's a good thing. So Chris Jones being out there is not good news. I get, Brent, what you're saying. You just don't want to hear the nonsense of this or that. An easier path is the better path.
Yeah, I get that. Now, listen, if Kelce has to sit another week, that better be okay.
Doesn't work the
so
same
I can
for
have
you,
it
does
both ways, right? I can definitely have it both ways. That's fine. It is what it is. And
not fine.
I also wonder what kind of shape is he in from a game shape standpoint. He missed this one. He's going to welcome to the heat.
Yeah, like
although I think the forecast is halfway decent. It's not like 110.
But even if his body is in shape, just being up for the game and all the emotion, like, it's not going to be great.
Not a rookie. He's done this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, he gets
matter.
That's the big news. Chris Jones is going. I would assume he's going to play. He signs the contract. That's the report.
He was going to play last Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
He said their O-line? This is bad.
Yeah, I think you're panicking about the O-line a little bit, but I understand that's what you got. It's what we got to look at from.
Hey, good news though.
Past game.
Good news by the offensive line. They had those 2 wide receivers they kept on the team inactive. So good. I still got that. Didn't keep any more linemen. Everybody's banged up. Not sure if anybody can block anybody. But hey, 2 wide receivers inactive on game day. That's good.
But
Walker Little had an okay game. They're a pretty good game.
Yeah, according to PFF.
I don't know.
You didn't think he had a good game?
I thought the numbers.
He had a penalty.
I thought the PFF numbers looked better than the performance of just about everybody on that offensive line. Actually, the guy that I didn't notice as much of, and I don't know what the PFF numbers said, was Barch. But I feel like I noticed everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, they were extremely kind to Barch, but kinder than they were to a guy like Fortner or Shatley.
I don't know if it's kind or what. I don't think they played well.
Yeah.
I don't think you're kind when you stink at times. Yeesh.
Hey, the Jags do have Calvin Ridley. Let's go back to that conversation for a minute before we take a break. And I mean, you know what's fun to talk about? Like a guy like Agnew, when you ask him about Ridley, like his eyes almost light up. Like this dude is different. And Trevor kind of says the same thing. Everybody's been saying.
But you saw it.
But you do see, and then you see it. But they say it. Because I always say this, like the players know what good is. And they know what great is. And even when it looks different to them, that's this guy. And it didn't look like he missed a beat, man. I think
really didn't.
He's going to have big-time years as long as it looks like this.
You certainly hope so, but it looks like Trevor's real comfortable throwing his way. It looks like Calvin's real comfortable getting the ball thrown his way. He was catching it when he was supposed to. He was catching it when he wasn't supposed to. He was lightning fast, super quick. I mean, really turning out great as you thought it might. And he was shut down in the second half, but the Colts had to do something at some point.
Is he really going to get those 1,400 yards that he talked about in the Players Tribune article?
Certainly seems that way. He's on pace for 1,700.
I think you could throw it to him almost like every play.
I think they wanted to.
And give him a chance. I think they have to be careful of that.
Do you think they wanted to get, we know they wanted to get the ball moving early. Is all they would talk about. Do you think Trevor or the team purposely wanted to get Calvin involved early, even if that wasn't going to be how they did it towards the end of the game? Or do you think the Colts dictated that?
I want to say I think it was the Jags. I get what you're saying. Get them involved, get them back into it, and see what that looks like.
And
they
get the
certainly
spike
did.
out of the way, so by the second quarter, it's like you were never gone.
On the second drive, he had 4 catches.
Yes.
Right, including the touchdown. So, and the 24-yarder. So, yeah, I think it was probably more Jags dictated. But I also, like Kasey and I were talking about this in one of the breaks, I think Trevor's going to be a little bit careful to always try to go his way. He missed Kirk on a wide open underneath that would have been like a 15, 18-yard gain, I think, for Christian, and forced one to the sideline to Ridley that was incomplete. I think he's going to be careful of that play. It's going to happen, but you don't have to go to Ridley. You've got other guys. I think he knows that. I think when he has to realize that, especially in a game where your offense is sputtering, what do you want to do? Well, you want to go to the guy that's like the guy. And I think that was a little bit in his mind at times during that game. It's like, we need somebody to make a play. Well, this guy's been making plays in the league for a long time, and he makes them at a different level. Let me go to him.
Yeah. But it also kind of felt like first day of school outfit to me. Like you buy this outfit with your parents a couple of weeks before school starts. You have it laid out for like 3.5 weeks on the bed. You're like, I'm going to look amazing in this. And then first day of school, you throw it on at like 2 a.m. Just wait downstairs for everyone to wake up.
I like that. That could have been that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It could have been that. But here's the deal. He's really good. And I don't know if the league is going to notice that he was out for more than a year. 686 days, I think, was the count that I had.
Just ridiculous.
That between games that mattered. And it looked like it was week 6 of 2021.
Just sitting here hoping that 3 weeks of rest for Chris Jones accumulates all the rust. Calvin Ridley's got 2 years out of the league. It's like he was never gone.
The greatest thing about yesterday, I think, for Jags fans and in most people's minds, is this offense has such an ability to be explosive, and they really weren't yesterday. Yet they still put up 31. And Calvin Ridley still went off. And ETN still at 104
yards. That's
yards.
a really good point. They weren't explosive yesterday. They still scored more than 30.
They looked like they had zero rhythm. Except for the one drive where they went to Ridley like 4 times.
Yeah. They moved that will, it seemed. Yeah.
Zero rhythm, and they are going to get rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
Hey, they may not even get it next week or the week after, but these boys will be humming at some point.
Brent Friends on ESPN at 690. We'll take a look at all the tweets that I tried to steal from Aaron when we come back here on a Monday. Football at 5.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered storms will end early this evening, then clearing skies with temperatures dropping to near 70 overnight. A hot and humid day tomorrow. It'll be partly sunny, a widely scattered afternoon thunderstorm with your Tuesday high in the lower 90s. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Before you buy a diamond anywhere, shop and compare and save thousands at Beards Diamonds.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 and a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Best Bet is number 1. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play against a designated player, one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war. Just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Hey, if you're like most people listening to this station, you like singing to Taylor and rhyming with Tyler. You love The Weeknd and listening to him too. At Community First Credit Union, we get that. And we get you, which is why we're here to help you live your best life by providing all the financial services you need, like free checking, an easy app, and digital payments. So just be yourself. Sing along to your favorite songs and come to Community First. CommunityFirstFL.org. Member NCUA.
Jasmine presents their 17th annual Coming Out Day breakfast, honoring corporate and community partners engaged in creating safe space and equitable policy for the LGBTQ+ community. Join the fun October 24th at the Hyatt Regency Riverfront, Jacksonville. Check-in starts at 6:30 with photos, coffee, and networking until 7:30 when breakfast is served. The program begins at 8 and features a keynote speaker, the presentation of this year's Diamond Award for service to the organization and our community, and always includes youth voices. You are guaranteed inspiration to last through the season. The theme is celebrating our Jasmine family, stronger together. Individual tickets are now on sale. For everything you need to know, visit jasmine.org, JASMYN.org.
The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day in September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME and take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code OUTCOME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.go/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, Brent Friends radio show. Aaron Schachter, Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, hanging with you up until 6 o'clock. I believe we do have overtime tonight, Case?
Still yes, from 4 minutes ago.
Listen, don't act like I can remember, because I can't.
Yeah.
No overtime tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, you got that right.
Well, we got the coaches show tomorrow.
Yeah, we got canceled. I haven't told everybody yet, but
tomorrow night we got the coaches show, FSU coaches show.
You should have seen both of your faces.
I was like, what? Hey, is this real?
We wouldn't know.
We've also got the jumbo shrimp tomorrow night, will we not?
I don't know. That was great. You heard what Brett said?
I did.
Shot!
Tonight.
Yeah, we do. We got a shrimp.
Tonight on the radio, Monday Night Football after overtime.
That's right. We got ourselves some football right here on ESPN 690. You got yourself some X's.
Yes, they're posts. They're X posts. I feel like you haven't really taken to that yet. I'd like you to try a little harder.
Yeah, I don't. I think this transition to X, like it's okay in when I'm looking at it, but the actual verbiage of it, it's not going anywhere when it comes to tweets and Twitter.
Tweeting isn't a thing anymore. They're posts.
People are talking still Twitter and tweets.
People are saying, all right,
that's what they be saying.
Yeah. Case, you calling them tweets still?
No, I don't really talk about them.
All right, there you go.
No, not really.
The X's thing, this doesn't. It's got a double meaning.
It's like the biggest, triple meaning.
Thanks, Brent. We didn't know it had a double meaning.
Tweet never did.
No, it was its own thing. That's why it was great branding. It was literally like best case scenario. But I feel like we've been down that road.
We have, I know. I'm just saying, Nick, by now you'd think it would transition. It's transitioned to my eyes, but not my mouth.
Yeah. Well, speaking of transitioning, Brent, I'm going to transition to this tweet because you started talking about it last segment.
I thought they were X's.
I think it's wild. You know what, Case? I apologize. Man of the year, big enough to change his position when he does the wrong thing here. I'm going to accept your information as true. Apologize
receiver,
to you.
Man of the year.
Listen, all fun and games till someone gets hurt, Case.
So
all I'm saying.
Are you hurt? Is that what you're saying? Just read the X.
According to everybody out there who's sharing these stats, this specific one is coming from The Athletic, but I think I saw it posted 17 times. No team has ever lost 40-0 or worse, lost the sack battle 7-0 or worse, lost the turnover battle 3-0 or worse, had a blocked field goal, return for a touchdown, and threw a pick six in a single season. No team has ever done that in a single season.
It's amazing.
The Giants did it all last night.
So good.
Last night, one game. They pounded all of their humility into one 3 or 4 hour window last night.
Hats off to the person who dug that up.
That is a big-time stat right there.
That is crazy to do all that in a game that hadn't been done this
Especially because you have to go back to the beginning of time, back when Brent was a high schooler.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Back when Joe Namath was patrolling the sideline.
I guess the only question I have for you about that post from X is, do you think it was more the Giants are bad, the Cowboys are good, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are going to look like that every game. So, yeah, I wouldn't say they were bad to that degree. I think they had a really bad night. And I do think the Cowboys are good and dangerous. You know, they can do all those things. All those stats that you just ripped through, they've got the capabilities. They've got a lot of star power. A lot to like about the Cowboys. The only thing you wonder about the Cowboys, can they win in January? I think they're going to get to January. They're good enough to get to January. They have gotten to January. They just can't win in January. That's going to come back to Dak and McCarthy and everybody else. But listen, they're not as deep as the Eagles, position by position, but they're as loaded as just about anybody from a star perspective in the National Football League.
Case, when the season began, McCarthy was on the hot seat. Dak technically on the hot seat. They're talking, will he get a new deal or not? Now people are looking at the Giants and this poor performance they put out there. If the season looks more like this than just last night did, is Dable on the hot seat after almost winning Coach of the Year in his rookie campaign last year?
No way.
He gets a grace period.
Oh, absolutely. Now, what might not get a grace period is whoever made the final decision on signing Daniel Jones.
That'll be Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen.
That did not work. So that would be the thing. But Brian Dable ain't getting fired. No. Them boys could lose every game. He wouldn't get fired.
That's a rough call by you.
I don't
know if that's accurate.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in New York, or as my daughter calls it, U-Nork, which is her thing now.
U-Nork.
Isn't that cute, guys?
That is cute.
I will say this on the Cowboys front. Mike McCarthy better be talking his smack today to Jerry Jones. Like, yeah, all you had to do get rid of that bum Kellen Moore, let me call the plays, boom, 40 burger.
Yeah, look what happened in L.A. Well, I guess Kellen Moore actually had a pretty good showing.
Kellen Moore did his thing. It's working out for Kellen Moore, too, because he's talking his stuff now to the owner of the Chargers.
Yeah, he's going to be the head coach.
Just get rid of Staley. This guy can't stop nobody.
We spent a lot of time talking about ETN last seg. I want to run this stat by you guys. This is week one route involvement leaders at the running back position. So it's basically saying out of all the running backs who played a snap in week one, what is the percentage of routes they were included in for the game? And Travis Etienne leads the entire league so far, with the exception of the Jets and the Bills. 88% of routes that were called for Trevor had Travis Etienne on the field.
Okay, I'm following now. That makes more sense. I thought like they were like these designed routes for the running back.
This
but
is
this
passing play
yeah.
that Etienne is on the field for. 88% of Trevor's passing plays, Etienne was on the field.
Okay, I think there are two factors here. One, he's their top back by a mile right now.
Crazy dynamic.
Two, Jermichael Hasty was inactive. So even on those third downs, he's going to get the nod, I think, from a pass pro standpoint, and obviously can be a weapon. Whereas Hasty probably, if he's up instead of Dearness Johnson, Hasty gets some of those snaps, I think, on third down because he can still be a weapon out of the backfield, but also is very good at pass pro. So keep an eye on that. But the Hasty decision to be inactive, I think, impacted the amount of plays in your tweet there.
According to these numbers, which I'll put back up there for the stream, 88% for Travis Etienne, James Conner on a team with no running backs, 85%, 82% for McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson, who were supposed to be these offensive juggernaut Swiss Army knife linchpins. And then you have a couple of more names on there like Raheem Mostert and Deion Jackson and Ramondre Stevenson. I guess my question to you, Brent, is does this say more about the depth in reality versus the depth we perceived in the running back room? I think all of us really liked what we saw to that running back room prior to the start of the season. But with Hasty sitting and Dearness Johnson in there and Tank Bigsby in there and then Etienne in there, how much depth do you really have when you don't need someone to barrel through for a yard or two?
Kasey, this guy can be pretty good at times. I like this. It's a good question.
You talking about the man of the year?
Yeah, man of the year. This is where you get some man of the year votes. This is
So he did one good thing in a year and a half.
Don't take my votes away,
Oh,
Case.
more than one.
Okay, the song.
That's a fair question. I don't know if I have the right answer yet. I was a little surprised to see Hasty not playing, but they loved Ernest Johnson in the special teams part of it. And the reason you're asking this question is because if one thing did happen yesterday, outside the building, people lost a little faith in Bigsby. I don't know if that translates inside the building, but I could certainly see even more reps go the way of ETN.
So it wasn't in this X post, but Bigsby's snap percentage on passing plays was 14%.
Yeah, but that part doesn't surprise me on passing plays because you're talking about pass protection. For a young player to know the pass protection, I've always thought this was an underrated part of the game when it comes to running backs. I always go back to Maurice Jones-Drew. He's really, really good at it. Jermichael Hasty, part of the reason he continues to be on this team, really, really good at it. ETN struggled a little bit with it, honestly, last year. Young guys are going to struggle with a little bit of that. So I think that's more to that point. But I think your overall question of, wait a minute, is the stable of backs as deep as we think and perceived in the preseason, especially given what we saw from Bigsby? And it's a very small sample. But coming out of that Miami game, you're like, hey, this could be a great 1-2 punch. And now you're like, wait a minute, are they going to trust this 1-2 punch after that performance? And that's going to be up to the Jags. It's going to be up to Bigsby as well. But it's going to be up to the Jags to manage that situation, not give up on them. And to their credit, in the fourth quarter, when it was crunch time, they were confident enough to go with him when he had the big run down to the one and then the touchdown.
Yeah, and it paid off. Let's go to another guy who had a large amount of responsibilities / target share in his game yesterday. But it's a name you may not know. Our guy Kasey knows it. I'm not sure many of you other folks know it. I'm talking about Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is a wide receiver for the Rams.
Yeah, he is.
And Kasey thought that the Jags should draft.
Oh, yeah.
But Nacua absolutely went off in his NFL debut against the Seahawks. This X-Post from NFL Rookie Watch. 15 targets, which, by the way, led the team. Almost doubled up on second place. 10 receptions led the team, again, more than doubling, or almost doubled up on second place. 119 yards. That was tied for most receiving yards on the team. 11.9 yard average. Nacua now the first rookie wide receiver to go over 100 receiving yards in his debut since Jamar Chase in 2021.
That's exactly what I wrote in the
He
article.
also currently leads all rookie wide receivers in receiving yards who have debuted so far. So Puka Nacua, the toast of the wide receiver class after game one for Matt Stafford and the Rams. Brent, you're making a little bit of a face like you think this is more situational than something else.
Well, I think he would have had 3 targets tops if Cooper Kupp played. Hey. But he really has, it's not just like a one-game thing. He's got a chance now over the next month to make it happen.
Now, Stafford threw 38 times in this game.
Jeez.
And they won 30-13.
38's probably like under his career average.
It might be.
He throws
I can't believe the Rams scored 30 points in the first month of the season, let alone game one.
The Rams win. Is that the biggest? I guess the Bengals scoring 3 points is the most eye-popping, stunning thing of the weekend. But second on the list might be the Rams winning and scoring at 30.
Too.
Yeah, the Cardinals almost won.
Yeah, but it's still Washington, guys. Like that.
Yeah, I bet.
That team almost made the playoffs last year, Washington.
Cardinals.
That's fine. I wouldn't say it. I don't even think it's in the same stratosphere as the Rams on the road at Seattle.
That's fair.
Winning with 30 points without Cooper Kupp and that roster.
It's a good point.
That has we didn't think they had anybody beyond the 3 stars on their team.
Puka Nacua, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell.
Well, we thought they were tanking basically, even with a few good players.
So did they. They thought they were tanky.
They had 2 guys catch over 100 yards yesterday.
Stafford said, hold my neck.
You never heard their names, either one of them, before yesterday.
I think there's this. You know what I think about tanking, though? I think everybody tries to win right off the rip, and you see where it goes. Like even Arizona, right? Everybody thinks they're really bad and going to be bad, and they might be right. They might be
Arizona
really bad.
today's like, well, we tried.
Well,
Here we
not
go.
today,
No,
but by
I like your point,
mid-October or early October, 5-6 games in.
You string a couple of embarrassing losses together, you may stop trying.
You're like, well, wait a minute. Like when they have to make a decision about Kyler Murray coming off the list and playing, and they're 1-5 or whatever it might be, and they're like a bad 1-5, and it'd be like, we're gonna make sure he's fully healthy.
Yeah.
You know?
But then other players may see that as a sign as well.
Like, listen, if you thought the Jags were tanking back in 2021, they didn't think they were tanking when they were 1-0 and beat Indianapolis.
But when they were 1-2, they thought
No,
about
they
it.
didn't. No, they didn't.
I don't care what you say. That team sucks.
But by the time they got to 1-8, they're like, this might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I do think I don't think it happens right off the jump of the season because there's so much unknown. But it will play itself out.
Puka Nakua.
Actually, that's a fun question. Who will get the number 1 overall pick after the first week of what you saw?
Oh.
I mean, if you're going by what you saw, Cincinnati's got to lead the way.
That's you have to make a prediction.
I think the Cardinals are in a prime position for 2 top 3 to 5 picks this offseason.
Yeah, Houston throws everything off. I would also say, I get, Aaron, you were a little bit impressed with Carolina. I was not. So I would throw Carolina in there.
I did not think they looked good. I thought Bryce Young looked okay.
Okay. But they don't have that pick.
I think he might be able to throw Houston in that too, though.
Well, neither of them have their pick.
Houston's going to be bad. And that defense, by the way, Houston's defense is not bad. Now, I know a lot of people talking about, especially D'Amico Ryan's defensive head coach, so I get the feeling there. I don't think it's that yet, but Stingley is a real dude.
Yeah.
And I think Will Anderson is going to be a real dude as well.
Yeah, listen, they might steal some games late. I'm just saying, I think they might even be worse on paper, everything else, than the Cardinals, the Rams.
All right, how about this one then? Which team that we thought was good is going to be the quickest to tank? Because, like, Minnesota's looking at Caleb Williams like maybe.
That's a good one.
Seattle's looking at Caleb Williams like maybe.
Watch Miami go out. Watch, like, if Tua has an injury this year, watch Miami end up with one of these big-time quarterbacks and blow everybody out of the water.
No, they'll never get in position to do that.
They got assets. They almost traded for Jonathan Taylor.
What if they trade Tua for it?
All right, well, let's not worry about trades when it comes to that. You're asking, like, which team that we thought was going to be pretty decent now might be in the running. I think the teams you brought up.
Denver's
a good one, too.
Denver doesn't own their pick. Isn't that still or are they done with that?
They might be done with it. I know that the Rams have their pick back.
Yeah, the Rams finally have their pick for the first time since, like, 2018, and they goofed around and won a game.
I think
that
they do own their pick.
I think that game was a little bit of week 1. I don't think Seattle is bad. I don't believe that yet.
Well, Seattle might not be bad, but Geno might be.
Yeah.
So at what point are you like, we got to try here?
I'm trying to figure out which one makes sense for it to happen, and the two you gave make sense, right? Minnesota could recover quickly.
What about the Giants? I understand they lost 40-0. I don't think they're that bad, but
if they don't have I'll tell you what, if they don't have an offensive line, they might be that bad offensively because they don't have weapons outside of Saquon still. I mean, it could really fall.
And Darren Waller. But to your point, no wide receiver.
It could fall apart the way 2018 fell apart for the Jags. That didn't lead them to the number 1 pick, but it could really fall apart like that.
I buy that.
Man.
And that's what a lot of people said today. A lot of people are like, hey, this is reminiscent of Bortles type.
The Bucs won their game. I think it could fall apart for them pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised the Bucs won. But again, the Bucs have players. Like, the thing about the Rams and the Bucs, like, they have veteran guys that have won a lot before.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to count for something. Now, you can't do it yourself. I get that. But they actually have won, and they also have, like, well, the Rams have Sean McVay who's won a Super Bowl.
That's fair.
Put a bow on the show, and we come back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 in a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course, the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial. We're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The Kids Berrylicious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids. Medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Kinetico K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Kinetico Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690, and you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. And don't forget, Jags Report Live tonight, Sneakers, 7 o'clock. We'll have Rayshon Jenkins out there. We go for an hour. It's on Fox 30 as well. 7 o'clock, talking more about the Jags win. Give us another Derrick Henry thought.
Yeah, I actually saw this from Dove yesterday. I wanted to throw it on the show because we were talking about, is Derrick Henry at the age where he's washed? Is he going to get there? When's he going to get there? Titans rookie third-round pick, Tajee Spears, outsnapped All-Pro Derrick Henry versus the Saints. 34 snaps for Spears, 30 for Derrick Henry. Spears was on the field for every single third down play. Derrick Henry, 0 third down snaps for the Titans. You guys think it's a one-time thing, or is this the beginning of the end for the Derrick Henry, I can't call it an experiment, era in Titantown?
I think they do like this kid, but...
Did they at no point have a 3rd and 1?
Yeah, I know.
Or even a 3rd and 3. I mean, give it to the man.
Vrabel commented on it today, said, we're just trying to get everybody involved. Let's continue to find a way to get Tajay and Derek in there. But
it's like, we're not trying to win. That's what that says to me.
Yeah, and Derek said, I trust the coaching staff. Everybody needs to touch ball. It's not all about me. Vrabel Wood then said, we're going to need Derek and everybody so we can figure out what we can do consistently. Derek will be a huge part of that. But, I mean, right off you do it the other way. Look what the Lions did the other night. They leaned on Montgomery, eased Gibbs into it. It was a
messed up my fantasy weekend. But 0 snaps, 3rd down for Henry. That is not a whoops or game script. That is a very deliberate choice.
Like, that's your best player. You keep him in the game.
Yeah,
all the time.
That's surprising.
Every play if you can.
I don't know. Man can catch a pass. I don't understand the 0 snaps.
Well, after they watch what Tannehill did, they might be in line for that number 1 pick.
I buy that too.
Man, that would suck. That'd be so annoying if they got Caleb Williams.
Until they picked an offensive tackle and then moved on with it.
I have great respect. I have great respect for what Vrabel has done. I don't think he can win just 2 games.
He would chew through his own fist.
Yeah, especially in this division. I mean, the Colts and Texans aren't great either.
That's really a good point. If you're getting swept by the division in the South, you're having a rough year.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up next. We got Monday Night Football. Should be a good one. Jets and Bills. Who do you like? You like the Jets? You like the Bills or the Jets, Kasey?
Jets. Jets.
Come on.
Nice. I like the Jets, too. Clean sweep. I like the Jets as well. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening on ESPN 690.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do ball.
Have a good night, everybody.
Alice Cooper, Too Close for Comfort. No more. October 4th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Alice Cooper, live. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnik Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnik Buick GMC is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. And with Car Bravo, it doesn't matter what used vehicle you're looking for because they certify all makes and models. And for a limited time, save an additional $500 when you purchase a Car Bravo certified vehicle at Nimnik Buick GMC. It's a win-win. You always win at Nimnik Buick GMC. Experience used-phoria with Car Bravo online at NimnikBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC. We are professional grade.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
Retiring this year or in the next few? You're facing new challenges and rules other generations didn't. That's why Mike Lester is hosting a live online event, The New Reality in Our Retirement. Thursday, September 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Reserve your spot for this no-charge online event with Mike at guardingyournestegg.com/live. He'll also be taking your questions. guardingyournestegg.com/live.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine are paying out over $640,000 this month in poker promotions. There will be exciting high-hand specials and no-limit hold'em tournaments all month. Catch Insta Paydays and game day promos at St. Augustine, $300 early bird specials at Orange Park, $500 Fridays at Jacksonville, and much more. Enjoy the best in poker and card games at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjax.com.
Pregnancy can be an exciting time, but for many moms, it can mean feeling anxious, depressed, confused, or overwhelmed. Either during pregnancy or after having your baby, you may not quite feel like yourself. If you're experiencing these feelings, you are not alone, and mental health issues can be treated. Talk with your OB or connect with a mental health provider in your area by visiting flbhimpact.org. This message is supported by the Health Resources and Services Administration, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
What's up? It's Casey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcast.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Chief star defensive tackle Chris Jones has ended his holdout. He's agreed to a one-year deal and will rejoin the team. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Jones will receive multiple incentives in the final year of his current deal. The revised agreement does not include added years. Aaron Rodgers grabs center stage tonight in a new shade of green on Monday Night Football. The Rodgers-Jets era officially begins tonight against the Bills. The hype has been building for New York since the acquisition of the future Hall of Fame quarterback from Green Bay. Couple of keys for Rodgers and the Jets to get the W tonight, explains ESPN's Booger McFarland.
He's got to be a ball distributor. He doesn't have to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. He's just got to be the guy to be the ultimate point guard. They got a ton of weapons. Yes. A ton of weapons. He's got to get the ball to those weapons, but it all starts with the offensive line. That's been the biggest question mark with this team all summer long. Can the offensive line protect him?
Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN, ABC, the Manning Cast on ESPN2. Steelers defensive lineman Cam Hayward could miss multiple weeks with a groin injury, reports ESPN's Brooke Pryor.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Exergen thermometers are more accurate than non-contact thermometers. As your children return to school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers can miss fevers due to inaccuracies. Accuracy matters. That's why Exergen is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen is available at Walmart and Walgreens, so you can have a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters at Exergen.com.
Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at NordVPN.com.
How about it? They did it. 1-0. Victory Monday. Already almost over, though. That's a shame. But still Victory Monday, no matter how you spin it. How we doing? Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. The long off season since the loss in Kansas City. We've questioned, we've wondered. We've said multiple times how they should dominate the Indianapolis Colts once we knew the schedule. We said how ugly it was going to be. We talked about how much better the Jags were than the Colts. And for 3 quarters, that was not good. And to be honest, for 4 quarters, it wasn't the prettiest football game you've ever seen. Trust me, we've seen prettier football. We've seen a lot worse football. but it was definitely not the prettiest football. But the point of the story is this: the Jags are 1-0. They win by 10 over the Indianapolis Colts. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts up until 7 o'clock. After that, Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, sounds weird to say, but now officially true, against Josh Allen and the Bills. You can hear it right here. We might talk about that before we get out of here. No promises, though, because the Jags won, and usually on a Monday, all we do is talk about the Jags.
We don't got to talk about that game because Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Schachter together on the same squad, who's going to bet against that?
Me.
Who's going to bet against that more times than not? I'm not.
Probably me.
No, what I'm going to do. Okay. So that was the Jet segment right there. That's what I think is going to go down.
All right.
Shout out to Aaron Schachter.
Good segment on the Jets. Very
Okay.
good. We go back to the Jags.
There we go.
The most impressive part of the Jacksonville Jaguars victory. There's a couple of things to choose from here. But Brian Middleton, the most impressive part of the Jags victory was what?
The getting after it of Anthony Richardson on the defensive side of the ball. That was the most impressive thing. One, and you didn't ask for more than one, but I'll give you a 1B.
Okay.
Will be Calvin Ridley's first half.
Huh? Yeah.
And I'll leave it right there. And of course, I texted you about the X factor, but that's just understood at this point.
Yep.
Jamal Agnew, it's a bit of a detriment to him. It's just understood that that's his ability. So when he pulls something like that out of the hat, it's like, of course, it's impressive, but it's like, that's kind of what he does. So
they don't win without the Jamal Agnew play.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't
not.
believe they win without that.
So I think that is where I'm at right now. I'm sure you're about to espouse something that's going to make me be like, you know what, that's a good point.
No, those are both great calls. I think they won because of their defense. This offense that we talked about all offseason is not the reason they won the football game. It is because of what you said in much fewer words a few seconds ago. They got after Anthony Richardson, front to back, up and down. Josh Allen was out of his mind. Trayvon Walker was making plays. They got push in the interior. That was just their front. Tyson Campbell was locked down, number one, elite corner, and made the play at the end of the game. The safeties were hitting people. Darius Williams, although it was quiet because there wasn't a lot of plays to be made, he was good. Trey Herndon, good. Like, their defense was incredible.
Let's mark this day down. What is it? It's September. What? September 11th. Okay, There we go. I was going to go on, but, no need to make jokes on this day. Okay,
I understand what you're saying. Trey Herndon, the third highest rated player according to PFF on their defense. He made plays. He flashed a couple of times. Although I didn't expect a ton from the Colts offense, just to be honest. And I've said that for months. This Jags defense showed up. Any less of a performance, they lose the football game. I know they won by 10.
Agreed, Kasey. And listen, sticking with the Jags, just a side tangent, I think, one, of course, it's the first game of the season. You don't have a lot of tape on Anthony Richardson. I guess you want to use that argument. But I think that was a great game plan by the new head coach. I think it was a great game plan for Anthony Richardson. I was actually impressed when I really looked at it, especially the first half of how Anthony Richardson played. And I was like, you know what? If Jim Irsay shuts his mouth and they get Jonathan Taylor there, they may not be just 1-16. They may actually be like 4 and whatever the math is on that, 13. So
I
anyway.
agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I just thought it was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be dysfunctional. I thought it was going to be just a mess, and it was not. I think you can walk away from that if you're Colts fan, Chris Ballard. I would say Jim Irsay, but again, who knows where that's at. But I think you can walk away from that and say that was a good performance from Anthony Richardson and our coaching staff. There are reasons that you can get excited about that. Because if you play football like that in every game, that game plan, you've got that defense, they will win games that way. They nearly won the game against the Jaguars that way. But when you play teams like Houston and Tennessee and some of the other games on your schedule, you will win games that way. And I think you can see where Anthony Richardson needs to improve, which we all thought, the accuracy throwing the football. But if I'm the Colts, I'm as happy as I can be in a 10-point loss. So I agree with you there. But I think the Jags defense did a great job. I thought they, outside of one situation where Michael Pittman Jr. was gone with the wind, I thought it was a great showing on their defense. If I had to rate their defense, I'd give them a B, maybe a B+.
Okay.
I thought they were great.
Unsolid?
Yeah.
Now, I will say last year, not in the Commanders game, but once we went out and faced the Chargers, and I think it was the Colts, I think we were pretty high on this defense as well.
That's a good call.
So the talent, I believe, is there. The want to is there. But now, as you've said plenty of times in the preseason, the offseason, the consistency.
Yes.
The consistent pass rush, the consistent push up the middle, the consistency in stopping teams when you need to stop them. Is that the piece that you can put together in the second year with this same system with these guys that you have on your team?
Yeah, that is the biggest part. You're right. And I think when you talk about a guy like Josh Allen, are you going to get 3 sacks every week? No.
No.
But if you can get that Josh Allen, like Josh Allen has had the PFF numbers for years, right? But I think we can all say that yes, he got 3 sacks. I get that. That's what's going to stand out. This man was unblockable at any point in time yesterday, whether they were running the football, whether they were throwing the football, whether they were spiking the football, which they didn't do, but I imagine Josh Allen would have beat his guy on that situation as well. He was untouchable. Shot out of a cannon, in coverage. He was great wherever he stepped on the field. It was extremely impressive.
Felt like he had a power-up. Felt like he had one of them little Madden power-ups or something like that you could put on the players in the old school game where you could, you earn, little rewards and, okay, before this big game, I'm going to put this on this player and he's going to have, a 99 speed because you're right. Unblockable is actually not an out of, bounds term. He was everywhere. He was everywhere.
Making just unbelievable. An unbelievable game. And my thought watching it was he going to cost too much money for Jacksonville at the end of the season if he plays like that. And again, you're not going to get 3 sacks every game. But if you're just that dominant against the guy you're going up against, which, by the way, this week will be Juwan Taylor. Just saying. You feel however you want when you heard me say that. I don't know. The highest graded player on their defense, according to PFF, was Tyson Campbell. That is no surprise. Tyson Campbell making the play, the interception on Anthony Richardson, and that's about all she wrote in the football game for the Colts at that point in time. But again, Tyson Campbell was fantastic. You can't say enough about their defense. What they did, missing Devon Hamilton and still having push in the interior. Trayvon Walker with a sack. Their defense on every level showed up. There's not one thing that I'm pointing at saying this needs to be better. You can always improve, but
I mean, there weren't parts, especially in the first half, where it seemed not confused, but it seemed like they were on their heels. In certain moments in the first half, few and far between, because they got a lot of 3 and outs.
I mean, yeah, and also I think first half, you got no idea what you're going up with Anthony Richardson. You got no tape, fair. You got no nothing. You don't even know what you're walking into yet.
That's fair. I'm just trying to keep it into a bit of perspective. Overall, though, I do agree. I think that it was a solid performance where they can take a lot of good, and then they can also still continue to point out, okay, this is why we're still working. We nowhere near where we need to be by the time December, January rolls around. But we can take some solace in the fact that we played solid, and even though it was still iffy, we still came out with a win.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now,
here we go.
We talk about the offense. So, all right, we'll start with the good. Calvin Ridley. Holy cow. They did a good job on him in the second half, I will say that, but forget about the rust. Remember when we talked about that? Will there be rust? There was no rust. He was cooking everybody.
Yeah.
He was getting open.
Yeah.
He was catching balls that were surely targeted for the Colts defense, somehow got between both those dudes. They both get hurt on the play, and Calvin ends up with the football. Remember that? That was wild.
Yeah, man. WD-40. You hear me? Slippery. Huh?
He was incredible. Not just because he was on my fantasy team, but he was incredible.
Side note, sorry. Don't lose that point. Kasey Kuhrts, let me tell you something.
I lost.
Thought you were, I don't care. I thought you were a goofball for only having Tua, but I told you that Calvin Ridley pick is going to help you out throughout the season.
I lost, though.
Listen.
Christian McCaffrey, Tua, and Calvin Ridley, I lost.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's really impressive.
But I like that. I like the picks. I'm just telling you. The Tua pick. There you go. Anyway, back to your point.
They have, which we all thought, we just saw it though, they have one of the top receivers in the league. Top, pick your number. You tell me top 3, you tell me top 5. After week 1, I'll overreact and go with you. Whatever you want to say, I'm with you. Tell me top 1 if you want. That's fine. I'll go with you. But there's no doubt they have a top receiver in the league. Basically 2 years since he last played football. Jeez, man. So good. So good from Calvin Ridley. Zay Jones, just when I thought like somebody was going to have to get squeezed out, right? That's what I thought on this offense. It wasn't going to be Zay Jones. Can't forget about Zay. What a touchdown. What a throw. What a catch. The whole thing. Zay Jones continues to be reliable for this team. Well done. Travis Etienne. Yards. Don't matter. Doesn't matter what that offensive line looks like, which we will get to in a second. Evan Ingram, couple of plays. And now the offensive line. They got a problem. Call it an overreaction. Call it week 1. Call it whatever you want. They have an offensive line situation in brewing. By the way, if you haven't heard, Chris Jones is playing next week. He got paid. So, take that into account. That was a dreadful offensive line performance by all of them. Collectively, it was not good. PFF says Walker Little was good. I don't think Walker Little was good. PFF says Luke Fortner was awful. PFF said Ben Barch was awful. I actually thought Ben Barch was the best of the group. Anton Harrison did not have a lot of good moments. I mean, Brandon Sheriff gets hurt again, which really stinks for him because he was injured last year and played through it. And now it looks like we're going to have to play through something else again if you're Brandon Sheriff. I was worried about this offensive line. When they kept 95 receivers and then they were all inactive on game day because you just went with your top 3, which we all expected, no shock, I thought they needed offensive line depth. They didn't address it. They tried to – actually, they didn't. They didn't try to address it. And now a week in against the Colts team, which, like, DeForest Buckner is a good player. They have some other pieces. I think they got a problem with the offensive line. So if that's the overreaction of the week coming off of that game, I'm overreacting and telling you I think that offensive line is bad. I think there's a chance it's a bottom 5 offensive line in the league. Because it does not get...
yeah, it's a bit of an overreaction. Okay, Kasey.
It does not get easier.
All right. And I get you.
What from their offensive line did you see yesterday that made you have any faith?
Well, you got to have a bit of a backup. You know, you've had guys who have been injured who have come back, and even though they may have played fine in your eyes, you know, you want to talk about the rust aspect there. That's just as much as a position where you can experience rust if you're not out there or you've been out for a long time. Just any of those positions, but especially the offensive line. On top of that, you're going to need time to gel, and if you have your rookie out there, as highly touted as he may be outside of Kasey Kuhrts, who was like, why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, that's just going to take some time. The offensive line out of, and this may be a bit of hyperbole, but out of any of the position groups that you can think of on the football field, I think it takes the most time to develop a 5-man continuity. Not just the fact that you individually need to be better, but that 5-person continuity that really takes an offensive line to the next level. Because 3 of the 5 guys can do their job at one time, or there could be a little bit of confusion, and then all of a sudden everybody looks bad. Trevor's running for his life. Travis Etienne's getting hit, only a half yard in the backfield.
There was
something
some
like that. There was some of that. So I think that there needs to be some time. I do agree that it didn't look great more times than it did look great, even though the Jags persevered. But the other thing that I would say is, do you remember about a month ago where we were like, hey, you know what? Let's see how this works out because maybe we can get a piece for Cam Robinson. That talk is over with.
That talk is over
The Cam Robinson countdown clock started probably after the first and second series.
It is on and bright and flashing.
Like, Cam, come on back.
We are
please
20-something days and counting.
Trevor is like, bro, can we speed this up anyway? Holy smokes. So, yeah, you're asking me what can I take from the offensive line performance? Well,
nothing.
Not much, except that I will say maybe we underestimated the Colts defensive line, the Colts defensive front seven, a bit more than what they needed to be. And I don't mean you. I just mean like Jacksonville in general. So, because you're right, DeForest Buckner's good. What's my man? I can't think of his name right now. But he was showing up and showing out for the Colts as well too. So,
Grover Stewart or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a combination of all those things. I think the Jags offensive line won't be top or won't be bottom 5, but
I'm saying
they have
on
a
the
lot to
low
work
end,
on.
Brian.
Huh?
I'm saying on the low end they could be. I'm not saying like that's the ceiling. I'm saying on the low end, if it looks like that, they're a bottom 5 offensive line.
And you just hold your breath. I'll go to the obvious. You hold your breath because you're just like, hey, listen, man. All right. Like Trevor took a couple of shots and you're just like, oh, man, come on, man.
Yep.
Guys, come on. You 370 pounds. I know it say 305 in the little pamphlet, the little thing where they put your name. You're 375, 390 with all them pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you don't get your big tail in the way, and stay there for 2.5 seconds. NFL play
in the way.
2.5, 3 seconds. I think 3 seconds is on the very high end for time to throw for a quarterback. 3 seconds.
Just hold it down. 3 seconds.
Or hold. Just learn how to hold better. Don't let 16 get hit, please. Just please. Anyway.
Gabriel Acevedo on the stream says, Jags O-line just has to weather the storm until Cam comes back. Nothing else they can do. I just can't believe that we're here. Like, I get it. It might be an overreaction, but 1 week in, not good. We're here.
You've been championing this for a minute, too.
Like, I truly did not believe that today, that we would come on here and say, sound the alarm for the offensive line. I thought we might get there before week 4. We are 1 week in.
Oh, shoot. I see you out there, Court. Go Jags. Sorry, in the stream. I didn't have my glasses on, but then I saw it, and I was like, yo.
Your glasses are real? I always thought they were fake. I thought you could see. I thought they were just for style.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with that.
He can't see. All right, he can't see, folks. He cannot see anything. I'll give Anton Harrison a pass.
Oh, look at you. Little grace.
What? For NFL debut. Now, here's the thing. Kwity Paye handled him, I believe. There were some moments, okay, great. I'll give him a pass because he's a rookie. But
how long does that pass go?
Not long.
Okay.
Not long.
4 games? He'd
no.
be like, Cam, get in here.
We're not going 4 games.
Okay, wow.
I won't get to, I'll just tell you, I won't get to 4 games. I might be the idiot. Andrew Thomas played awful for a year, and now he's one of the best in the league. Although last night, them boys got boat raced for 40. You saw that?
Boy.
Holy cow.
I tell you what.
So, yeah, if there's any alarm to sound, I think it's offensive line. Their offense as a whole will be better. I know it's weird to say they scored 31 points, say the offense will be better. At no point did I really ever feel like they were in a rhythm at any point in the game. I thought it was either they were getting the ball to Calvin Ridley or they weren't. Now, part of that could be on Trevor forcing it to Calvin Ridley in some other situations. Christian Kirk, where were you? I'm hoping that's not a trend, but if Calvin's going to get force-fed, somebody's going to lose targets. I didn't think it'd be Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's not going to be a trend.
No, I'm not worried about it.
It's a pick your poison deal.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But overall.
Let me ask you this question, because you've seen 4 quarters, but at the end of quarter number 3, were you still very thinking so lofty of the Jags offense at that point in time? And were you putting any of the onus on the fact that Press Taylor is calling the plays 100% for this game right here, as opposed to having, I guess, all the input in Doug Peterson in that mix?
I think so. That was the weirdest thing about that was the timing. Before game 1 of the season, like, hey, all of a sudden Press Taylor is going to call plays. Whether they decided that in January or they decided that yesterday. Why did it come out right before the game? I thought that was a lose-lose weird situation for Press Taylor. But I think the situation dictated what they had to do. They couldn't, their offensive line couldn't do anything. They had no push.
Yeah.
They couldn't really run the ball. The only time they were running the ball is if ETN was making guys miss. So I think when you get short yardage, I think when you want to run the football, they couldn't. they couldn't really let stuff develop behind that offensive line. Very few times in the game did it happen before Trevor had to get and move. So I'm not concerned about the Press Taylor, Doug Peterson, whatever that truly is. I trust Doug. If Doug trusts Press, then I trust Press, who is trusted by Doug. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we got you.
Whatever Doug,
you trust the process.
Whatever Doug wants to do, I'm cool with it until proven otherwise. I thought there were some questionable decisions by Press Taylor, but I also thought he saw what we all saw, and on nearly every play, their offensive line was getting beat. So you lose half the playbook right there, and you got to adjust. Now, the tight end bubble screen on third and whatever that was, or if that was fourth down, don't call that again. Please don't call that again.
Wasn't feeling that one.
Was not feeling that one. But listen, I think if things were going awry, Doug will step in. Otherwise, I can rock with Press Taylor. Not a big deal. Weird timing, though, for the story. It was basically like, hey, if something goes terribly wrong here, Press Taylor was the one calling the plays. Like, it was just a weird way to put out that was going to happen. Like an hour before the game, Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network. If you didn't see, and if you didn't hear, potentially, and you're like, what is he talking about? According to Ian Rappaport, in the second half of games last season, Press Taylor was calling the offensive plays for the Jags. It was then put out a little over an hour, maybe 2 hours before kickoff yesterday, that Press Taylor was going to full-time call the plays instead of Doug Peterson, which was very strange for the time it came out. I didn't think it played in the favor of Press Taylor, especially if things did not go well for the Jags yesterday. For a while there, it wasn't looking good.
Okay.
But it came back around. But if they don't have an offensive line, there's a lot of stuff they can't do.
Absolutely. Say it again, Kurtz.
So, Irf on the stream says in all caps, "We'll be fine."
Oh, he did write it just like that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to hold it for that 3 count.
Jim says, Cam comes back, move Little to guard, and Harrison did fine first game. Homeboy from the Giants got smoked all night. Andrew Thomas? Who are we talking about? Jim, put it in the chat who we're talking about. But, see, that's the thing. Like, I'm not out on Ben Barch, so, like, I'm not super excited to take him out. Again, if you listen to PFF, they think Ben Barch was awful. 48.1 overall grade. He was better in the run block, not good in the pass game, according to PFF.
You know, Kasey, and I like that this next comment that Gabe put in there, right? I think some people would think that maybe you're just trying to cope just a bit, but I do like that, and it's based off of the DNA that I feel like Doug has put into this team last year, where he's talking about basically, because I'm going to paraphrase, they can overcome on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. They can overcome adversity, whatever that looks like. And, you know, the fact that, once again, you hate that it kind of happens this way. You hate that off of a goofy play, you know, where they scored that touchdown, where they knocked the ball out of Tank Bigsby's hand.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And all of a sudden it's just like, the momentum swinging. The rookie quarterback should have some confidence, even though it's not going like 100% his way. And you're looking up, and it's the third quarter, and that nightmare scenario that we were just hypothetically throwing out there and throwing away, like that's not going to happen, but you don't want that to happen,
right.
Was happening. And then, lo and behold, fourth quarter happens, and the Jags did a lot of what they did last year. Just overcome, okay, we understand what the scoreboard says, and we understand what we got to do, and we're going to do that when we need to. There is something to that, and it's not just cope. That's not just coping with the fact that it was kind of a poor performance in spots for the Jags.
See, you're not even taking it far enough. It is everything to what happened. And just to tie that up, Jim says right tackle for the Giants, which is Evan Neal, is who he's talking about.
Oh,
and
man.
Nobody on the Giants had a banner performance.
Yeah, Evan Neal was getting cooked. You're right, Jim.
Walked. There's no doubt about it. But to that point in the chat you're talking about from Gabriel Acevedo, he says, it's nice to have a team where even though we might be down, I'm not worried and biting my nails. This team consistently keeps showing that they can adjust and come back from a deficit. So from that to what you're talking about, and that is the biggest part of this. Every Jags team outside of maybe 17 for the last 10 years loses that game going away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This team won There's not a whole lot of moments other than like a Tyson Campbell pick, maybe a Josh Allen sack, the Zay Jones catch, right? But this isn't a game that was highlight-filled. This wasn't when the Jags were winning some of those games at the end of the season. This was ugly football. This is one they will not write stories about for a lot of the game.
Okay.
And every Jags team folds. They did not. And that's what I said to start Brent Friends. These are not the same old Jags. We weren't sure last year. We thought they were for a good part of the season. And then we thought maybe, just maybe, these are not the same old Jags. And I feel 100% confident that after what just happened in Indianapolis, these are not the same old Jags. These are the Jags. These are the new Jags. Because Jags teams don't win that game. They did it. By 10. They won by 10. It is the weirdest 10-point win in the history of football. Like, nobody felt warm and fuzzy about it. But at the end of the game, somehow, some way, they won by 10.
It's giving...
And they cover the spread. It was amazing.
Look at you.
It was unbelievable.
The most important part.
Some of us bought points and went all the way up to 6.5.
Oh, boy.
Dude, okay.
In case you
Let me tell you the story before we go to break. Because then we gotta go to break. Okay. So the spread was like 4.5, 4. It was going back and forth before the game. And I said, look, if they're winning by 5, they're winning by 7. So there Kasey was needing the Jags to win by 7. And there the Colts were on the 1. And I'm like, if they get in here, the Jags are going to win, and that's what's important, but not for Kasey.
Casey's not going to win.
So I'm like, all right, kick the field goal. Because then they win by 7, I get cover, everything's happy. Kick the field goal. And then here comes Gardner Minshew. And I'm like, dude, if I lose this because of Gardner freaking Minshew. And it was all good. They stopped him.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jags. That was awesome. But still, the weirdest 10-point win in the history of football. The Jags get it done, and they are 1-0 to start the season. Let's take a break. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. More to talk about. I did tell you earlier, but it is news. If you haven't seen it, Chris Jones is paid. He's showing up to the Chiefs. Unconfirmed if he'll play in the football game. He hasn't practiced yet this year, so we'll check on that. But he's paid. Signed, sealed, delivered. He's theirs. What will that look like against this Jags offensive line? I really don't want to know. We will talk about what happened to Tank Bigsby, a very interesting NFL debut for Tank. What does it mean for Travis Etienne? What does it mean for the rest of the running back room? We will try to figure that out. And we will potentially mention the other games in the league. We mentioned the Cowboys boat racing the Giants by 40. That was embarrassing. I can't believe that happened, to be honest. And then we got the Jets and the Bills coming up on ESPN 690. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts, Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. BRB.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered storms will end early this evening, then clearing skies with temperatures dropping to near 70 overnight. A hot and humid day tomorrow. It'll be partly sunny, a widely scattered afternoon thunderstorm with your Tuesday high in the lower 90s. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jags First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Before you buy a diamond anywhere, shop and compare and save thousands at Beard's Diamonds.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Ugh, after a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I can have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump. Again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things: getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint and football. That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast, and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real, long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-one-fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anna Jar Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct cleaning manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people ask, who should I hire to clean my air ducts?
Well, there's a few things to look for. First, does the company have an HVAC contractor's license? In the state of Florida, you must have this to legally clean air ducts. Second, is the technician properly trained? Zero Res technicians are trained and certified by the National Air Duct Cleaning Association. Third, what kind of system are they using? Zero Res uses the most powerful truck-mounted system in the industry that generates over 15,000 cubic feet per minute of air movement. Most companies use a portable unit at around 5,000 CFMs. That's a third the power of Zero Res. Cleaning air ducts is all about power.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, I'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning. And if you mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow, so I can get up to $150 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Are you searching for your next great ride? Then I've got great news for you. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has just announced an unbeatable inventory of over 500 used vehicles all in one place. I'm talking cars under $18,000, over 200 SUVs, and more than 100 pickup trucks. Even better, right now, get no payments until January 2024. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
Shop the Beach's Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. Diglocal.org for more info.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-206-7930. 904-206-7930. That's 904-206-7930.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
All right.
Why you come on like that, man? All right.
The heck was happening with Tank Bigsby and that one play?
Oh.
I mean,
wow, that's rough. That's a rough transition. You ripped the Band-Aid off.
You got to.
No overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. No setup for Monday Night Football. Just, hey, Tank,
What happened? So, not the best day for Tank Bigsby, although it turned out okay. We have a Kadarius Toney situation where, ball hit him in the hands.
A little disrespectful, but okay.
I mean, it wasn't as bad. It's pretty bad. So you've got that. You've got the fumble return for a touchdown on the play that nobody thought the ball was live except all of the Colts who thought the ball was live. Not a single Jag around the football. Every Colt around the football. I still can't figure that one out. So the bad. And then he ends up dragging every Colt defender 3 or 4 yards to get the first down and then ends up putting it in the end zone.
That was, yeah.
So an up and down debut for Tank Bigsby. But here's the thing, Brian. I walk away from the whole thing, including the touchdown, including him dragging players with him, the bad with the good with the bad. I walk away thinking, why the hell are we not giving the ball to Travis Etienne in this scenario? I understand he can't play 100% of snaps, but I watch that and I go, yeah, I still want Etienne. Like, I get it. He can't have every carry. Tank had 7. Agnew had 2. Dearness Johnson had 1. So I understand that physically you have to keep your guys fresh. But all that made me want was more Travis Etienne. Am I alone here?
You're talking about the fumble play, correct?
I'm saying the whole thing, even with the touchdown. I'm like,
you're talking about when he dragged all the people. You were still saying, give me Etienne?
I'm saying
it's not an Etienne play right there.
I know it's not.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
I'm a little confused.
After watching Travis Etienne play football again in a game where not a ton of highlight moment, nothing that you're going to go, wow, no other person could do this. Travis Etienne did it. I still find myself, if a Jags running back has the football in any capacity, I want it to be Travis Etienne.
Okay.
I thought after training camp, I'm like, you know what? I'll be okay when Tank Bigsby cuts into Travis Etienne's carries. The answer after 1 week is no.
Bit of overreaction.
I need to see all of Travis Etienne all the time. Pause. I heard it, but
I was going to let you just
pause. I get it. I get it.
Sitting there, you know what I mean? Flag on the play.
And that's what I've come away with. I'm like, yeah, cool. More Etienne. More. Not less. More.
You need more, huh?
Yeah. That's what I've come away with.
Wow. Okay. Kasey, again, I think a bit of an overreaction. Different players have different skill sets. And then also, when we're talking about Travis, Etienne, when we're talking about Etienne, listen, brittle isn't the word I'm going to use for him. But it still holds your breath. Because
I don't disagree with that.
Because, for the past 2 seasons, one, he was out, and then last season, there were just a couple of times you're just like, So if I'm in something that's, if I'm in a yard and distance, and I have a running back who is still kind of highly touted right out of college, and his name is Tank, I'm gonna try him in a lot of those situations. Just in those specific situations, let alone, I am going to give my 1A back a breather and cut down on his wear and tear. Because what Travis Etienne can bring in running and catching, I don't want the accumulation over a 17-week regular season. I want to try to slow that down as much as possible. And I do that by spreading out the carries and the plays that those guys are on the field. I will say this to the play that was a head scratcher to seemingly everybody on the Jags and nobody on the Colts. Everybody on the Colts passed the test. They studied for it, and they were like, oh, okay, we know what to do here.
That was wild. I agree with that.
Only because it didn't result in the loss. I think that this was one of the best things that happened to Tank Bigsby in his career, and I think it was one of the best things that could happen to the Jags this early on this season with such high expectations because I know I have to believe that this will drive home the urgency, the awareness factor for Tank Bigsby and, those guys are from person 1 to person 53 on that roster for any scenario like that, and possibly some other goofy stuff that you just kind of just go over in your head just because this will never happen until it does happen. Mm-hmm. So I think that play, as crazy and frustrating as it was to watch in real time, like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. I do believe because we won. Now, if it resulted in a loss, this would have been so brutal. 100%. But because we were able to win that game, the Jags were able to win that game, I think that not only is just a teachable lesson without the fact that you had to pay a price ultimately for that, and it's going to benefit us. I don't know where. I don't know when. Could be the regular season. Could be in a tight game in the playoffs, but I think that that's going to come back to help out, even though it may not be attributed to that play when it does help us out with the awareness of the guys on that offense and Tank Bigsby.
I hope you're right. I don't know if you're right. Okay. I hope you're right. But again, they won the game, so it's not okay, but at the same time, they won the game. It's okay. Here's the problem that I have, and I'm going to chalk this up to week 1. Because the one thing that Doug Peterson said, the one thing that we knew is they needed to get better in short yardage situations. So what did they do? They drafted a tackle. They drafted a blocking tight end, and they drafted Tank Bigsby to go 3 for 12 on 3rd down in week 1. 1 of 3 on 4th down. So the short yardage stuff, still not there. Now, as I documented, some of you disagree. Jim is sick about me talking about the offensive line in the chat. Jim, I'm sorry, I have to bring it up again. They weren't ready. Let's just put it that way. So I put the 3rd down stuff and the short yardage stuff on the offensive line. But there were also some moments when Tank Bigsby missed a hole on 3rd down. Now, there was that play where he jagged everybody, so, give and take. But I'm not so sure they have a problem in short yardage right now. But I believe if they actually have an offensive line problem, then they do still have a short yardage problem. Whether if your running back is named Tank or Bulldozer. Whoever you got back there, you might still have a problem if your offensive line can't block for it.
Yeah.
So that's yet to be seen. But 1 week in, short yardage, still a problem. Still a concern.
Kasey, we've talked about everybody. I mean, we kind of missed them in passing, but
I know.
Just off the top of the head, grade. What do you give? What do you give Sunshine? What do you give Willie Lawrence?
I thought he was fine. This is the thing, and we talked about this a little bit on Brent Friends. But you're right. It's 6:46. We've got 4 minutes left in show, and we have not spent a lot of time on the quarterback of the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. I thought he was fine. 24-32 for 241, 2 and an interception. Interception wasn't his fault. I think we have gotten to the point already that we're like, yeah, Trevor's gonna do his thing. I think this is what we know about Trevor. He can make every single throw that is needed. I'm not saying he will at any given time, but I think he can make every throw on the football field. Either sideline, deep, short, whatever. He is capable of doing such. And when he does such, like a throw to Zay Jones in the end zone, it's like, yeah, wow. But, yeah, he can make that throw. I think the thing that is still there with Trevor is there are throws that he misses that leave you kind of like, how do you miss that? But I think that's just, you're not going to complete 100%. That's not how this works. So I think Trevor Lawrence is just good. We take some of it for granted. We're probably not going to talk about it unless it's outrageously bad or outrageously good. They've got a really good quarterback. They've got a top 10 quarterback. He's going to go out there. He's going to do his thing. And we're going to talk about everything around him because he's that good. That's what I believe. But I thought he was okay.
The meter moves from good to okay. Listen.
I mean, he wasn't. Who was great yesterday in the league?
Tua?
He wasn't Tua.
Tua was cooking.
He was not Tua.
It's like, boy, if we can just keep your brain in one place, I want to see what a whole season like that looks with the Miami offense at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Holy man.
So he wasn't that, but 24, 32, good. 241 and 2, good. The interception, again, it happened physically. It goes on. It's just like Mahomes. Like, you hit him in the hands. What more can you do?
Yeah, he was accurate. He made a couple of spectacular throws.
Yep.
He got you in the end zone. And listen.
Won the game. Leader.
And it was
used his legs at times. That one play was big. Let for the first.
Let another, comeback win. Like, hey, man, listen, I think this boy is about to, I used the word already, about to cook this season.
Yep.
I really think that is going to be, as this continues to get figured out, and hopefully as the offensive line play gets better, Kasey, this going to be an issue. An issue.
I mean,
for the league.
I don't think you're wrong. How crazy is it? This part is wild. Again, the show's over. It happened in Brent Friends. Like, we have now accepted, I'm pretty sure, as a fan base, the majority, that he's really good. And I'm not saying we're already taking it for granted because of all of the years that it was not good under center. But the most shocking thing that could happen at this point, week in and week out, is if Trevor Lawrence was bad. If the defense has a week where they don't show up, we'd be like, yeah, okay. The offensive line, we just had it. They dropped passes last year at times. I'd be a little shocked. That'd be close up on the list. They can't run the football. That would not be a shock. But if they go into a game and Trevor Lawrence just plays awful, I think we're past that. I would be shocked. Highest up on the list. And maybe we're taking it for granted. I don't know. But yeah, he's good. And he was good on Sunday. Not as good as Tua, but still pretty good. Boy, Tua was balling, huh? That was a game. Did you watch that game?
I did.
Holy cow. I couldn't leave. Like, I tried multiple times to get on with my day. Couldn't. Had to watch.
Hey, listen.
Tyreek Hill, holy cow.
And I know you hate Brandon Staley. I know you will find a reason to attribute this loss to him.
Defense.
But
stop.
Hold on now.
Okay.
Well, then why won't you do that for Miami's head coach? Now, come on now.
Brandon Staley's a defensive coach.
He's the head coach.
Mike McDaniel's an offensive guy. He was cooking.
He's the head coach.
He had defense. They hired Kellen Moore to call those plays.
Okay.
I'm putting this on Brandon Staley. Here's my thing. After Tyreek Hill runs by you for the 18th time, grab him. Pull him down.
Sweep the leg.
When they score the go-ahead, trip him. I don't know.
Sweep the leg.
Do something.
Cobra Kai.
This dude just kept getting beat consistently by Tyreek Hill.
He's getting smoked.
The Jets and the Bills are coming up. I got the Jets. You got the Jets?
OT, curse it up. Let's take the Jets.
Here we go again. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. Jags win victory Monday. Enjoy the rest of it. Have a good night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house.